Thursday, 5 October 2023, and this is the regular board meeting of the Waterville Valley Select Board. I am Rich Rita, the chair, and accompanied today almost always by Bob Freeze, the vice chair, and ditto with Wendy Rathburn, our other member. So we have a quorum. I have a privilege of the floor item, I believe. So would someone like to?
Yes, have a short item. We'd like to request permission for some chalk art this weekend. Obviously, if it doesn't rain, the kids can color on the sidewalks. But we need your permission. That's what I understand for the fall weekend.
Okay, do you have a particular area or day, time?
Popular sidewalks, which would probably be the names of the streets.
Or like
The
the
ones
one-
that
Like
recently-
Valley Road or
like,
Packard
the
Road?
recently paved roads along the pedestrian and the bike,
You're talking the multi-use paths as
Yes.
well?
that would be fine.
you know, kind of smooth pavement.
Yes, smooth pavement, and we don't need to request the road. Because that would involve the public safety, and we don't need that.
Is this something that's been publicized?
No,
So
it
how,
came up a few days ago, and a few families with children asked me if we'd like to do it. I said, let me ask. So I asked Patrick Payer, and he asked Mark, and they suggested that we request permission from you, so that's where we stand.
How about the school? Have you thought about the school parking lot or the?
No. First, we need permission from you, then we'll go ahead and ask what the children and the parents would like to do. They're just a few in number.
so there's not a rec department thing,
No,
just
no,
an ad hoc?
yep,
And sort of thing where you'd be chalking, and then if people are coming along on their bikes or walking, you just scooch
Yep.
over, and so
Oh,
it's not like,
of course.
you're not talking about barricading off the multi-use
Oh,
path,
God, no.
but yeah.
no
And-
barricading, no blocking.
Yeah.
None of that,
The motif, the theme.
it's the fall weekend, it's Indigenous Peoples' Day, it's the race. But that's up to Brooke, what she wants to do with that. Were you doing any chalk art?
Sorry, I
this-
didn't hear the beginning of this,
Oh.
I just walked in, but.
Oh. Well, a few parents and children would like to do a little bit of chalk art this weekend. Assuming it doesn't rain us out. And that's what we're looking at, rain. 100% rain on Saturday, but perhaps Sunday. Sunday, Monday. So how do you feel about it?
Discussion.
I don't have a problem with it, it seems like it's wide open, it'd be better to just to pick an area and say you can do it in this particular area, I would think.
I don't have a particular problem with it,
No.
as long as, you know.
And if you wanted to do it at the school parking lot, I think all you do is to ask the school board. That may be a logical place to fan out from potentially if you're talking.
Yeah, that would be a
children.
great place to do it.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's,
We're talking children, not necessarily the children that go to school here.
right, but
Some
just
do,
those
some don't.
days, yeah.
So it's very last minute. So.
Yeah.
that's
Would the
why.
school parking lot work?
I'm not sure what Brooke is planning for the school parking lot. So I think I was thinking about the sidewalks where people are milling about. So,
I think actually, good timing. My only concern would be safety.
But I think in front of the athletic center area would be a good spot, just because everybody walks by through
Yeah.
there. Crosses over onto Packers and everything, like it's
mhm,
a very well-used area, I think that would be a good.
Yeah.
Point.
good idea.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Chief, you okay with that, with the sidewalk art? Chalk art,
It washes off, so.
yeah,
Thank you.
Just, I think the question from Wendy had to do more with safety with all the walkers and people and bikes within this weekend. If you guys are okay with it, DPW seems to be okay with it.
okay.
Yeah, okay,
Thank you.
good. Fine with it. Anything else for privilege of the floor? All righty, let's move on to approval of minutes. The minutes of 7 September and 21 September of 2023. I think we've all had an opportunity to review them and make our changes or request the changes that we wanted. Anyone else have anything further they'd like to
No, good.
do with them? So I will move to approve the minutes as presented to us and changed of 7 September and 21 September 2023. Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, on to calendar review. The next regular select board meeting is 2 weeks from today, 19th of October, and that will be our 5 p.m. meeting. And the planning board's next regular meeting is next week, also here in the downstairs meeting room. It'll be 12 October at 8 a.m. Okay, department head updates. Let's start off on the left here. So, hello,
Hi,
chief. What's going on?
not too much. I mean, we're just, took advantage of, the trucks being out of the bays and painted the floors, which hasn't been done in a few years, and we covered up the avocado. That's been there since 1972.
What?
I know, we changed tradition. It was a big step,
I'm
I
hoping that
understand.
There's not bad luck that follows.
Well, I hope Bob didn't mind. We forgot to ask Bob. You
That's
were
right.
maybe here when it was painted.
I was a fireman then.
You were, all right.
So the avocado green on the front of the inside of the fire bays are red now with a blue stripe, so we're still. In the process
More
there.
public safety-ish,
Yeah.
red and blue
yeah.
That's our
Right.
department color.
color,
Yeah.
right? Red and
Yeah.
blue.
So other than that, big thanks to, Chris and Jim, Chris doing most of the work, during the week, but, got through that and, if you noticed that, there was a windsock on the top of the building and we took advantage of new pavement to put the actual proper landing pad for Darden, that is our main landing zone. So there is no Waterville Municipal Airport. It is our landing zone for Dart, in case people are asking.
But no private helicopters coming in.
No private helicopters. We inflated Joe Castle a little bit, told him he can land his drone there if he
Right.
really wants to, but other than that.
But only for official business.
Yes. Only for official business. We're just starting, we're about a third of the way through post testing. The new pavement makes it a little easier, a little nicer for post testing. But other than that, Jim and I have been very busy with annual life safety inspections. Finishing up most of all the resort properties. We did Black Bear this week. And I think that gets us caught up for all the initial inspections around town for all the commercial properties. So now it's just follow-up inspections at this point. And other than that, that's pretty much been consuming most of our time.
Permitting, anything?
Uh,
Just the usual?
Just the usual, so come with the life safety inspections, everyone gets an occupancy
Mhm.
permit with that, whether they're an assembly or they're in
Business.
regards to the liquor license too, so we get to process all that stuff.
Right.
So this year I've been only issuing those upon reinspection. So if there's a number of violations that need to be addressed, usually we were doing those on initial inspections. Then what we were finding is people weren't fixing any of the issues. So as a matter of course, we've changed the way that we do business a little bit and said, once the reinspection is done, then you'll get your permit. So we've made everyone aware. For those that have initial inspection and there isn't anything major on there, we'll just issue those permits. But for the ones that have a number of violations, then we're holding on to them and making sure they get this, they're getting stuff done. We have seen progress this year compared to previous years, just because I think the expectation has been built up a little bit, so. We're seeing a lot of people make some nice compliance, steps forward in compliance. So the subsequent years get easier and easier, you know, the more we kind of whip them all into shape and, it works, it's working out well.
Anything else for fire safety, code enforcement, remedy? Nothing? Okay. Sticking with DPS, Chief Sayer, anything on the police side you'd like to add?
Just staying busy, unfortunately.
Unfortunate. Okay,
It's full on calls. It's stayed pretty busy throughout the summer and into the fall, so. Amanda's over halfway through now. I think she has 7 weeks left. She's doing really well. She passed the halfway point.
great.
That's about it, actually.
Have you noticed anything reportable with regard to the new pavement, the road markings and so forth as?
It seems to be on the weekends, people like to mess with them. It appears.
Really mess
So
with
there
the
seems to be longer
delineators?
gaps in between the pylons.
Yeah,
Or some missing here, or just like they moved a little bit, but. I mean, speeding is up a little bit just because of the new pavement.
I'd be surprised if we didn't have some vandalism with those at some point.
Yeah,
yeah.
Well,
I wonder if you,
Megan had 4 that were moved.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the first
There were
initial
only
weekend, there was
Yeah.
4 moved,
Yeah.
By movie, you mean just like offset a little
Yeah.
bit?
offset.
Not taken.
it's just,
or-
they're
Yeah,
just messing with them.
Yeah. They're actually,
It's not an issue yet.
right,
I mean. People are moving a few of them. They might tap one with a car and move it. But you replaced them all first thing on Monday morning. Yeah.
And out yesterday, so I think we had that.
Yeah, and there were nothing else during the weekday is happening that we've seen.
and when we take them down for the winter? Another couple weeks?
November.
November, mid-November.
you can make it
Depending on the
weather
weather.
dependent.
Yep.
Yeah, with regard to the speed, I just make 2 quick observations. One is I noticed for the first time, I saw cars stop at Triple I going out for a pedestrian to cross at that crosswalk. So that was nice to see. But out on the other side of that coin, I noticed that seems to become a bit of a speed zone between Tecumseh and Triple I going out because it's a nice, clean
It's the other
Bright,
side
shiny.
yeah.
pavement coming out of town. And seemed to me the speed may be a little up there. Is that what you're referring to?
Yeah, I mean, like, just now I just sat out there and a couple cars coming in town, 35, 36.
Still
coming out of
past the,
school, yeah, so it's past the fresh pavement, which isn't completely unheard of, but. I think that going out of town is gonna be potentially more of an issue, it's like you said, it's,
I appreciated Ray Kachowski's
yeah,
message in the on Facebook that basically said you're now entering a pedestrian zone. And it makes it more obvious that hopefully people will slow down because of that.
and we still have some pedestrian signs to put up, right?
Mhm.
At the crosswalks.
We're just waiting on Dig Safe to get
Yeah.
to see, okay.
and then the only challenge we've seen from a public safety standpoint is stopping cars. There's nowhere for them to stop.
Is what?
There's nowhere for them to stop. So if you go by in an emergency vehicle, there's nowhere for them to pull over. So it's like, it's the same as the sidewalk section though. So they can't stop anywhere now.
Yeah, they have to
They
go
can't pull
further
over
on and
anywhere,
turn
yeah.
into the
So
road.
they have to go all the way down past the athletic club to get off the side of the road in that stretch now, but. You know,
I was surprised at that sign that says no stopping per order of selectmen. Is that a new sign?
That's been there
No.
forever.
Has it really?
Yeah,
There are a number of them, aren't there?
I think that's the
that
lowest.
is
Oh, it's
the
the
only,
only one?
Yeah, it's one of the. Or maybe 1 or 2, but it was because of the buses were stopping.
there was a footpath that came out of Forest Knoll that
Okay.
people would use during ski season.
And
And the
the
bus would stop.
That's
there
why
and
that
pick
sign was
them
put
up.
up. Okay.
But when we put the bus stop on the other side of the road, and then we put the one on Tecumseh Road. The selectmen at the time had that sign put up so that the bus wouldn't stop there for people to pick them up, to take them up to the mountain.
Hmm.
So. It's been there for 15 years.
I just noticed.
You just noticed. No, I mean,
It
that,
fits in
you know,
that.
it's just,
You were getting the bus stopping. on both
right, on
directions.
both
Right,
sides,
both
yeah.
sides.
I'm usually napping when I go by.
I mean, do you see a need for
see-
it now? I mean, is it worth?
I mean,
anything with it,
I
or
haven't
leave it
seen
there?
any reason why people have been going, I haven't seen any
I haven't seen
Evidence of-
anyone on that side of the road
Yeah.
in,
years.
oh, yeah,
Yeah.
a long time. They
We can take it
they-
down.
They could probably.
What do you guys think? It's one less sign of people,
Yeah. I take it down.
yeah,
Okay,
Makes sense.
you don't need it anymore.
Maybe it's more obvious now that the road is constricted and you,
Right.
I don't know.
I mean, is there another place we can put it too? I'm getting this sharp.
No, I don't- no, I don't think
anything
so.
like that.
Well, I
no,
would think it would say per order of Department of Public Safety or police,
Well,
rather than
so the-
selectmen.
We did all the signs. Now it just doesn't match any of the signs. on the
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, well then,
It just
I think we
takes
can-
it down.
yeah,
Yeah.
all right. Very good. Anything else, chief? Okay. Work, how's fall, moving into fall and after school programs, et cetera, et cetera?
After school programs are going really well.
Yeah.
We have, the mountain biking club today and then our just traditional program, and then we have art clubs on Friday, so we're pretty busy with after school care. We do have one child from the Ray Center that takes our after school program as well, so Oriole from the Ray Center. We did a fun Freiburg Fair trip on Tuesday. That was a successful, beautiful day up there, so that was fun. On Sunday, we had a PTO fundraiser pickleball event, which ended up being extremely successful. It's the first annual. I'm not sure if you saw any posts about it, but it
Mhm.
was a pickleball 49 tournament was how it was coined.
Yep.
And it was really unique because it had beginners, youth, and also the advanced rated players involved, and it was really successful. So out of that.
No injuries?
No injuries, no. Out of that, in entry fees, we raised $1,120.
Mhm.
And we would like to donate 75% of that to the PTO, so that would be $840. And I don't know if we need permission or a vote from the select board to do that.
you should vote if you want to
Mhm.
do that.
Mhm. What was the amount?
$840.
$840?
Yeah.
All right, I'll make a motion to donate $840 from the proceeds of the pickleball 49 tournament to the parent teacher organization of Waterville Valley. Do you have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. I think that's gonna be a really nice starting point to an annual event. The timing of it is a little stressful because it falls a week before the Fall Police Show race, but, it worked out pretty well. I attended a school board meeting, it must have been 3 weeks ago now, where, I asked the question about the building use and whether or not we would be able to have our cycling classes in the morning in the gym when they weren't using it, but school was in session. They were not comfortable with that. So they wanted to remain the same. So we are not going to be hosting our cycling classes during the school day. And hosting anything during the school day. That was the message. They did say that they're anticipating a pretty sharp decline in student population after this year. So right now it's around 45, I believe, and I think they're graduating 11 eighth graders in the spring versus the 3 that they graduated last spring. So that will change, and so they, there may be some movement in the classroom use of the multipurpose room, but of course, that's not verified. It's just a conversation of, noticing the difference in the population, anticipated population.
No, that, sorry, just to clarify, so
Sure.
that still has to do with the students needing to use the restroom and the rec side of it, is that correct, as opposed to just the restroom and the school side? Is that why
For the
there's,
gym,
right, is that where there's movement,
Yeah.
or is it another issue?
no, it's just the same because the door that goes from the hallways to the gym is not locked. Can't
Right,
be locked.
It's
so
just
they
a
can have
panic part
access
there,
to the
right?
restroom.
Yeah, so they're just they're they do not want to have anybody in the building during the school day, using the, shared space, so. I don't think that anything will change in my mind next year. I mean, this is just my opinion, but when if they do vacate the multi-purpose room, they will still have those same issues that they have now. It won't be totally blocked off. So we would probably be in the same situation during school day, but then the multi-purpose room would be usable for a lot of other things, which is where it impacts us the most.
Except if the student population is lower, then perhaps they'd all be able to use the school restroom as opposed to needing to rely on both.
But
Is
I
that-
think they would still need to use they're using I hate to call it this, but the old art room, because I know you know what that is.
Yeah,
And then and the cafeteria, so they would still be on that side of the school, so I don't think that they would feel comfortable. And again, this is just my assumption, having us use the multi-purpose room during the day, because you're still gonna have that issue. I don't think they're, gonna be,
I know historically they had a time slot when they were at lunch and
right.
recess times. Then they were using that and it was okay. But now, because they have students more use.
Yeah. and they have it set up different, I just can't imagine if that's gonna change in the future.
Could we, is there a possibility to make any alterations to the building that would satisfy them and allow us to have more use of the building? I mean, we would basically take it for granted that the building's the way it is, but are there things that we could do if we spent $10,000 or something to modify the building to satisfy the school board and allow us to use the gym more often?
I think we have locked every door that we can without affecting public safety egress.
It's bathrooms.
It's
Well, okay, so
bathrooms.
you suppose, could you put another bathroom in?
Maybe out back, there is a little bit of space out there where they have that open area. That you potentially could do an addition on the building. Or by the old art room,
That's what I was thinking.
I don't know.
Yeah,
We'd have to ask them to.
Yeah, that would be a conversation.
That would
with them,
be-
and that's-
Well, we're
some of
due,
it
I
would
think.
be Probably a lot higher than two, right?
Yeah, we're due, I think, to have a semi-annual meeting with them in November.
Yeah.
So this could be an agenda item.
Yeah.
Explore thinking out of the box or
Are there things we can
finding a
do that
way.
would solve the
to-
problem?
Yeah.
right,
Yeah,
yeah.
And maybe just have the conversation that in the case that the multi-purpose room was freed up from being the middle school, what does that mean and what would your comfort level be with us using the gym during school day? I mean, I'm the one who just, said what I think would probably happen, but that would be the first question to ask,
Yeah, because you have a locked door. Between the multi-purpose room and the cafeteria. So the question to the school board is that gonna be enough
Right,
to allow us to utilize the multi-purpose? room?
Historically, previous school boards were okay with that.
Right,
And
right,
it's really the
Right.
gym that I'm more interested
And
in
it's the
during the
gym,
day.
yeah.
sure.
So
Anyway.
we should add it, I think, to the November.
yeah.
Yes.
Meeting and talk to them about it.
Yeah. I think their next meeting's in a couple of weeks, so this may come up. The next school board meeting, but I think we need to arrange.
When you go to that meeting, Rich, can you get the date for the November meeting? Because I don't think we set a date.
No, we haven't. I can contact the school board chair, Mike Fergal, and
Okay,
propose a November date,
okay.
and then we can discuss it at that meeting 2 weeks from now. If that works for them.
We have the fall foliage race this Sunday. We have public safety will be helping us out with the roads and trying to keep people safe, because we don't shut down any traffic during that race, so that's an important role that they play. We are still looking for volunteers. If people are interested in helping out their community, you just contact me. And it's a 9 a.m. start. Jen Smith, a volunteer that lives here in town, did the course setting today for the 10-mile trail race, so that's all done. So there will be flagging and signs up right now, which we hope will remain in place through Sunday. And then they will be taken down after the race Sunday. We have a number of sponsors helping out with that with that race, and a ton of donations from the community. From here, Campton, Plymouth, for our prizes, so it's nice to have a lot of people get involved. We have an 8-week class coming up for adults. It's a 55 plus get fit and strong with a new instructor, Kevin Burgess, which I think is going to be outstanding. There's already 6 people signed up for that. And that starts next Wednesday, October 11th. So if you are interested in signing up, do so. Then I also just wanted to make a note that the boats will be closing on Monday.
So the boat shed will be filled and locked, and that will be that till next May.
That's correct. Do an inventory. Of what we have. So that
The
we know what that is.
Floating docks and all that, same time coming out.
Yes, that will become, well, that, I'm not sure, I leave that, the
DPW,
DPW is out with that, so they just do it when it is convenient for them.
I believe we're scheduling to do it all at once.
Okay. Yeah, so they may also, we're gonna have to see. I don't think we've ever had all the pedal boats in the shed, so that's gonna be, we're gonna try to make it work. And then have to get creative with space elsewhere if it doesn't, but that is the plan. We're thinking it's going to all fit into the boat shed. So, yeah, that's it.
Any questions for Rick from the rest of the board? Thank you, Brooke.
I'm gonna excuse myself, we've got quite a lot going on over there, direct, so, thank you.
All right, thanks for coming. Megan? What's going on in Public Works? That you want to tell us about?
Over the next week, the pedestrian signs will be going up. As long with revamping some of the stop signs and things like that, the signs that have kind of lost the reflective or kind of deteriorating, we're gonna pull down, replace them with new DOT regulation signs. So
Will this be the classic yellow color or the new fangle chartreuse?
So then, are you talking about the neon green one?
Yeah.
Is like at the school, so per the DOT, the school zones are only required to have that neon green, everywhere else can be the standard yellow with reflector.
Standard yellow? Yeah, okay.
So that's what we'll be replacing them with. They'll have new reflective stop signs. And then some signs that are just kind of off in the trees that aren't ever seen are gonna come up and out, so they're out of the way. And not just taking up space and sitting there and deteriorating, as long with few signposts we will also be changing while we're doing the signage as well. Solid waste has been working.
I'm sorry, if you can just stay on roads, are you done with the pothole repairs?
Not yet. The infrared people have been pushed back because of the weather also. Their plan is to be here next week through the week after that.
Finished
Yep.
getting potholes for this summer, I mean, for the year, great. Okay, I'm sorry, you're going on to solid waste?
Solid waste is working diligently to get the signs up on the dumpsters themselves saying that, no C&D or anything like that is allowed, only household trash for the condos. And the dumpsters we have around town.
Will that specify what C&D is? I mean, a lot of people don't know.
I can get some signs made up for what C&D is, but it just says household only, no C&D, go to the transfer station.
Okay,
Along that.
Yeah, people may not know what C&D is.
Yeah, and then yesterday I attended the Hard Road to Travel course. The NHMA's New Hampshire Municipal Association's RSA's updates to their book on roads, drainage, ditch lines, everything like that. So a lot of information. Some things new, some things just tweaked wordage and things like that, so. Good cause.
The dam repairs. Once the boats are closed, dam repairs.
Yes, once we get all the boats and everything out, we will lower the level some, get the dam repairs in order.
is the boards that
The
are,
boards,
or actually it's the post too, right?
yeah, the
yeah,
posts get
Pushed
bent over
Oh,
time,
right.
so they'll be straightened out
and new boards.
and the boards put in.
Yeah.
But that'll happen once the boats come out next Monday.
How's the aerator? So we got a new one, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
that's okay.
not gonna go in yet.
Okay.
I- we don't-
The aerator for.
For the ice,
For
we
the
won't
ice.
put that in until late November, hopefully,
How about the,
or early December.
yeah, how about the lighting on the bridge over the dam?
Mhm.
For swapping out the fixtures, is there any movement on that to get the lower?
Not yet.
Okay. Because they're very bright.
Mhm.
I still hear complaints. And I guess I'm one of them. complaining.
Yeah, it's a perennial issue, like we've changed them once, I believe.
Yeah, once,
Right.
but we get.
But
If-
the
if-
fixtures in this, that the school replaced theirs with
Are
much
less,
less glare producing.
Mhm.
And I believe from a layperson's point of view, they look like they would fit.
okay, well, so I think it's a good idea to check on that, maybe see if they fit.
Yeah.
Or see if there's a lower,
Easier to swap.
right,
Or even taking a couple of them down.
Yeah, we'll talk to the school maintenance person first.
find out what they.
Find out what they.
Yes, it's, I mean, that's always been an issue of.
There
the-
there
the-
isn't any way that we're gonna be on a timer like the school is, because
No.
they actually go off,
Right,
right?
no, I was about to say, this is really a safety issue, that's been
Yeah,
part of the
sure.
problem about.
Mhm.
Lowering it.
Yeah.
But they are bright,
They're very bright.
they do
Okay.
stand out.
We will-
But not so much once all the holiday lights get put there and,
Well, because the holiday lights are bright enough that they don't come on,
right,
so. that
and they
helps.
go off at 10 o'clock or thereabouts anyway, right?
Yeah.
The
depending-
holiday, the
depending on
seasonal,
Power outages, yeah.
the seasonal lights. I believe some of them are turned off,
The holiday. lights.
yeah, the seasonal,
They typically do,
Yeah.
but inevitably there's a power outage that shifts them, so they stay on later and later and.
all right, I see,
Yeah.
no one resets it.
Yep, we'll get,
Okay.
find out what the options are for.
All righty, yeah. I see you handed out a,
If you'd like to talk about that now, or in the.
Or during transfer station.
oh, I saw his transfer station update. Very good. All right, Dylan, water and sewage, or sewage and water, depending on your preference.
So we had our new hire start last Friday. Chris
Great.
McLean. He's been awesome.
Good.
No complaints. He's got ready to the swing of things. We started dewatering our sludge holding pond last Friday, so if there's any odor complaints or anyone has anything to do in the area of the Tecumseh Road, that would be why. Typically this time of the year, that's one of the things that people question the most about is what's that smell or something along the line of that, and that's what it is going on, so. Otherwise. We're at a slowdown period for us anyways, which is nice. Flows have dropped off, rain has held off. So I've been able to. Make up some ground on the lagoons, which we weren't able to do. All summer long and buy us some headspace. Do some maintenance in the facility as well. So things are looking good. I did notice that there isn't anything on whole business for the water project update. I did want to mention to you that we did get the control panel replaced for the generator. So that is just awaiting a final load test, and then that'll be good to go. And we'll backup power online there indefinitely. So
But we're still waiting to bring, Well, three online.
everything in terms of hardware and
Right.
programming is good to go. It's just the actual company that the generator was purchased through has to do the load test, and that's just for the contract, for the town to accept it from the contractor. So, make sure that it meets all, push it through its paces. And there's no issues powering everything that's connected to it, because we keep in mind, we have all 3 wells in the water treatment plant on that one generator.
Right.
So is that scheduled?
I actually texted Brian Grenice this morning, who's the PM for Grenice Construction, and he still said, he said he's still waiting to hear back from Craft Tower on it. Their scheduling has been terrible. I had a fight with them to get them out here to do the install on the control panel. And they were supposed to do a load test that day. They didn't, they just left after installing it, so.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not, I mean, it's not us, it's their sub that they're having to battle it out with, but
And Grenice is aware of it.
Yes.
And
yeah, they're aware.
Yeah, because we haven't issued
No substantial completion.
substantial
we
completion. We're
would
waiting for this still.
We
They,
would
they would want that,
we
right?
have communicated that to
Yeah.
them, that they are not getting that
Because that's
document.
when the clock starts ticking on the warranty and all that stuff.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, like Mark said, I had made that clear to our engineers that are on that project still as well. That the town isn't going to declare a substantial completion until the generator is online, so.
Did you want to mention anything about the sewer issue?
Yeah,
sure.
there is a low pressure sewer line, there's a manhole on Packard's field, back right corner. That had a small crack in that one of the fittings, so that only pumped out, and that section of line was cut out and replaced today.
Oh, that's all roll? So, and I think you brought in roll, Rowell,
Yep.
thank you. And that was it, so it wasn't any major.
No,
It's small, it's a
we-
small low pressure sewer line, very low flow, so it wasn't a big deal like.
and we are gonna have an engineer come in next week. I don't have a date yet, but by the next meeting, I'll have a report
On
for you
that
on
section.
that section.
Mhm.
So,
Just services those 4 units.
no, there's 12 in there.
Or 4 buildings.
Yeah, the 4 buildings,
Yeah.
12 units.
And there's
12 or
hardly ever
16.
people there to begin.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
It's. That's the whole idea.
It's Waterville Place.
You're gonna change the manhole from drain to,
To me, to
Sewer.
sewer, yeah, we'll get a new cover.
Good old water go away,
Yeah.
or whatever we had laying around on top of it.
any questions for Dylan from the rest of the board? Steve, what's happening in administration?
Hey, everybody.
Hello?
My favorite time of year, coming into budget season, so we're gearing up for that. We've started to meet with our capital improvements committee. Actually, today was our first session, our second session, actually. But our first session with the department heads, taking a little bit of a different approach with that CIP document, capital improvements plan document this year. We're going to try to introduce a column into that document that marries some of the items with action items that were identified out of the master plan, the planning board created. Just to
That should be, right,
add an additional step during the year to force us to look at that action plan document, I think is important for the
Right.
town staff and the CIP committee to do. And then additional column that ties in our strategic planning meeting action item list
right,
to some of the CIP
Good.
items as well. So I think the
good place for it.
yeah, I think the committee was very receptive to that idea today. We have a lot of good detail outlined in that plan. A lot of items in there that will be hopefully ready to present to you for your next board meeting. Or before.
It will, presumably then it will go through the planning board on its
Yeah,
next
it
meeting of
won't-
the
it won't
12th.
come to them until.
It's, right,
Sorry,
so, yeah,
that's where- Yeah, we don't have a planning board meeting in between, so.
no, I think you
It'll be,
do.
the second meeting in November.
It'll be then.
After the November plan.
After November
Yeah.
one, okay, right, so just for the record, for anyone listening, the capital improvement, is a program or plan?
Plan.
Subcommittee is a subcommittee of the planning board, and so. Their recommendations for the subcommittee's recommendation for the CIP go to the planning board for them to discuss and approve.
Yeah.
And then the planning board presents it to the select board to discuss and approve and discuss in particular. The financing of any of those items as well as the timing.
Yep.
So November then, so we'll be doing in our second meeting in
Second meeting
in November.
We'll probably have it for you.
Very good.
I will have, I'll have the Q3 water and sewer bills prepared, the warrant prepared for you tomorrow. sorry we couldn't squeak it out for today's meeting, but if you're available to stop by town hall tomorrow after 10 at some point. To sign that warrant, we'd like to get the bills printed tomorrow and out in the mail by the end of the day. As well. If not, early next week would be fine too, if you're out.
Okay.
Yeah, and outside of that, it's just budget preparation, budget analysis, looking at, doing some forecasting to see where we are throughout the year and anticipated to be by year end. Our finances are tracking okay, but we've had some items that have eaten up some of our contingency lines, so. Just a preliminary estimate right now, it seems as though we'll be favorable on the expense side to budget by about $80,000 at year end. I'm still looking at the revenues and trying to digest that a little bit to see if we're tracking okay there, but all indications are that we are, so.
Any questions on administrative?
We don't have a financial report in this. meeting.
Not in this one. But I do you want to talk about the tax rate now?
Yeah, I was gonna ask anything else that you'd like to bring up under this?
Well, it tracks with
Sure.
both things that
Sure.
Steve just talked about. So totally unexpectedly, Department of Revenue Administration called this afternoon. We have a preliminary rate. This is based on the approved appropriations at town meeting, the revised revenues that you did last month, and the MS1 that we just concluded. All of that information, along with the county and the school information, was put together. And the preliminary rate that the state has set is $12.06. That broken down by the town, county, and school. The town portion of the rate this year is that's total. The town portion of the rate is $7.46. The town rate last year was $6.48, so it's a 98-cent increase. We projected at town meeting that the town rate would go up $1.37. So we are positive on that, where it's less of an increase than we projected at town meeting. The county portion of the rate last year was $1.15. This year it's $1.23, so that's up 8 cents. The school portion, both local and state, last year was $2.77. This year it is $3.37, so 40 cents or 13.5%. So it tracks. I did call Mike Fergal and ask him. He did not know offhand. He was out of town. I'm gonna send him this information. He'll do his comparison on the school side. But this is tracking pretty much where we had estimated back in March. So the only issue with this is the application for the emergency expenditure. If we actually, with your approval of the minutes, we were ready to send that in to the state. If we continue to do this, this tax rate will be held up between 10 days and 14 days.
And
Okay.
what's the issue with holding it up?
It has the emergency appropriation. If it goes in before the tax rate is set, it has to be acted on by DRA before they can finalize the rate. Okay, so I would recommend, because of what Steve just went through, if we're $80,000, if we're projecting to be $80,000 to the good, the lease amount is $34,000. Okay, so on the expenditure side of the budget, we will still be positive,
Right.
right? If we have a catastrophic event, something happens November, December, whatever, we can still submit the same paperwork that we have been preparing for the lease and do an emergency appropriation at that time. It would still come out of fund balance and it would be for whatever the amount is that the emergency would be.
So are we saying that the 34,000 doesn't affect the tax rate?
It will not affect the tax rate.
Okay.
And any emergency appropriation would not affect the tax rate because it would
It's
come out of fund
eventually it's
balance
gonna come
anyway.
out of fund
That's right.
balance, which,
But there's no need.
Is-
I'm glad that Steve had the
so we don't have
opportunity
to
this
go
week.
through that.
Right,
So but it doesn't affect the tax rate. Why does it hold up for 14 days?
because that's the DRA regulation.
Right.
They,
They have to
If-
approve that.
they have to approve that submission before the tax rate is finalized. However, if we don't submit it, right, which
Mhm.
we haven't done anything yet to
Mhm.
submit it, then they set the tax rate, and if we have an emergency afterwards, we just go through the same
Right.
process for that emergency. We had not, when we started the paperwork for the lease,
Mhm.
and for the emergency appropriation, Steve had not done the detailed review that he did this week. Right, to find out exactly where we were on the expenditure side.
Okay.
The 85,000 is less than we usually
Mhm.
project, right? But it still covers the emergency or the lease
Right.
and
It doesn't
gives us a
include
positive
revenues
balance.
either.
And it
right?
does not include, it's only on the expenditure side.
The projection,
Right.
right?
And so
Right.
we have additional money that'll go to fund balance from the revenue side
As
as
well.
well. So I really think that this allows us to get the bills out on time. And if we have a problem down the road, we can go through the process.
So you're saying we're not gonna do the 14 days or we are?
We
Well, I
are
would recommend
not.
that we not submit the emergency appropriation request. Keep the tax rate process going,
Mhm.
do the bills. If we have a problem at the end of the year, we'll go, the first emergency appropriation letter that I did to the state was done in mid-December. So you can do it at the end of the year.
So
we
when
need
would
So
the tax,
if we need to,
when would the tax bills go out?
in a couple of weeks.
I'd like to get them out on the 16th.
Yeah, if we finalize the rate today, if you say that this is okay. We will submit this for final approval at DRA. And then they will give us a final rate probably Monday, either tomorrow or Monday. And then we can get the bills out by the 16th, which is our normal time
Right.
period.
And due under whatever it is, first or second of December.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. So the bills would go out and then you'd submit for the emergency.
We will not submit any paperwork for emergency expenditure unless we have another situation. Because the first year of the lease can be covered by the $80,000 that Steve was talking about today.
So why were we going to do the emergency?
Well, because we weren't
expenditure?
sure what that number was because of the use of contingency.
So I wanted to make sure we had
Gotcha.
an alternative if we
Yeah.
were much
Yeah.
closer in our.
Okay.
Expense analysis, but
Yeah.
I think we have it.
So we have the discretion to do that, take that out of the $80,000 without submitting an emergency
That's
request.
correct, because the select board can spend up to the bottom line of the total budget. So we will in effect be moving the savings from one department into
DPW.
municipal
Municipal
services
services.
in the solid waste line items in order to do the lease. Because the select board can do a lease up to 1 year, right?
Right,
And then as long as you put it in as a warrant article.
right. It's still,
at the
everything is
next
still,
calendar.
everything is still dependent
So
on
everything is
approval by town,
correct.
at town meeting
Yeah.
to go forward with the lease.
Mhm.
This is just to get the machine
In
Now,
place for this
upcoming
winter.
winter.
So why were we even considering doing the emergency? Because we knew we were gonna have a surplus.
Well,
Didn't we?
no, we did not know that number. Until Steve went through and did it. And that's why we were processing the paperwork so that if
In the
that
event
number
it
had
didn't,
been less than
Right.
the 34,000, we would have had authority to do it.
Normally, Bob, around this time, we've hovered around 200 to 250,000 in expense.
Projected.
savings, projected savings. We were much closer this year.
Yeah.
At 85, but I feel we can absorb the 1 year lease of payment of 34 within that 85. I know it's tight, but
Yeah, I mean, this is like 97% spent. That's pretty close on our budget.
good. All right, any further discussion? Do you need anything from us to move down this? Well, we have to accept the preliminary
You have to
vote on.
accept the preliminary
Right.
rate. You'll be setting the overlay. Is gonna be somewhere around 11,800. We will verify with the assessing agent. That that's gonna be sufficient. Right, for overlay, we don't anticipate any abatements because we didn't adjust values. We went
Not
through
this
the
year, right.
reval, right, and. So the assessments are good. Anyone who would have had a problem with the new values. Would have abated,
By now,
requested the abatement
Right.
last year.
right,
So we don't anticipate a big year for abatements, which is what the overlay is used for.
Mhm.
So that's on the second page. And it's under
Actual
overlay used 11,812.
Okay, so
Your service credits have been finalized and approved. Those are good. The school numbers all came from the SAU and the school board.
right,
so,
so
those are
what they
set.
are, right?
The only other note, what was the number that was in the prepayment, 324? The prepayment of our, at the begin, in December, that were the January bills. Do you remember what that number was out of the audit? I want to say it was like 324,000. But if you look at the fourth page right here, the only number that jumped out to DRA is the fund balance retained amount.
Mhm.
It was less than the 5% minimum, but it does not take into account the prepayment that we did where we paid the debt service too early. If you put that money back into the fund balance, we will be between the 8 and 10% number.
Sorry, what was the prepayment?
The prepayment was we paid,
No, sorry, the amount.
oh, the amount, I believe it was 324 or something like that. I will check that exact number. It's in the audit detail. But so there was a payment that we made in December that was for a January payment.
Mhm.
That got pulled out of fund balance and put up into a retained number. So the actual fund balance that is showing is the 340,000.
it'll correct.
But it
itself.
will correct itself this year because
Right.
we budgeted for that amount in 23.
Okay.
But we had paid it in 22. So the money will go back into the fund balance this year. It's an accounting thing.
Okay.
And it gets us back up to the 8% roughly.
And it gets us between 8 and 10%.
Mhm.
And I just gave you 22 just for your comparison.
Right,
Information. And then you can see where the last 2 pages are the budget summary that we used at town meeting. And you can see we put a tax rate impact of $1.37. And we only ended up having an impact of 98 cents on the town side. So we came in 39 cents under what we projected at town meeting
For this fiscal year.
for the
Right.
fiscal year.
Okay. So is the motion a simple one of just accepting the preliminary tax rate for 2023 of $12.06 as presented?
Mhm.
Is that all I need to say?
So
I just said it then.
we need,
Do I have a
I'm
second?
sorry if you're okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And I know this is your first time doing it.
Yep.
So go through it. If you have any
Yeah.
questions, I'll go through it more detail with you.
Perfect.
I'm sorry to bring this in, but we have this opportunity and rather than wait 2 weeks.
Let's turn the
Just,
preliminary tax rate into
preliminary to find
the final tax rate. Absolutely.
Is there anything that would change this?
You can take some of that 340,000 and lower it.
But we wouldn't want to do that. because of-
I
Not
want
this
to
year.
keep it,
No, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
because we use that each budget year.
Right.
For those capital items, so I would not recommend, but that's really the only change
Okay.
that would be appreciable to affect that rate.
But we can play with those numbers again when we do the budget discussions for
Right.
2024,
Yeah,
not these.
You may
numbers.
want to be,
Right.
you may want to be
Right.
conservative in the 24 budget. Because the fund balance will be smaller.
Right,
By
exactly.
more than 150,000 than
Right,
it usually is. So you may want to do less and do more on the tax rate. You know, we can have those conversations.
for
in
24 tax rate,
Yeah.
right?
Bob, any questions or?
Good.
Good. All righty, so
Did
we're
you
done
vote
with,
on that? Did you? say that?
yeah, I think we voted. Did we vote, Sharon? I thought we did.
All
Yeah,
right,
we did.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
All righty, so anything further for
Nope.
town operations and
Nope.
department head updates? All righty, new business. So the first item in new business is a volunteer for a planning board open position. I understand we have a email request from resident Rick Smith to be appointed to the planning board of the first available position. I understand there is a position available, but it's a regular member position. John, is there someone who's an alternate now who has discussed this with you, who would like to finish? This is due to a resignation
Mhm.
of a current, of a regular member. So any of the current alternate members would like to fill that position?
I spoke with Kathy Brennan.
Mhm.
She's an alternate. She would like to go to the member.
Be a regular member, so we would need to first appoint Kathy to finish out the term of Jenny Lucas, who resigned, finish out the term as a regular member, and that will open up an alternate position for Rick Smith to.
We also have Jeff Webb has also contacted me and he would be interested in that position as well.
And we have, do we have 2
Mm,
vacancies?
No,
No,
Just one.
one.
we just have the one. And all right, well, let's first create the position, right?
Right.
So are you folks okay with appointing
Kathy Brennan.
Kathy Brennan to a regular member of the
Yes.
planning board and finish out Jenny Lucas's term? So
Yeah.
could that be recorded, please? And so now we have an alternate position open. I guess that would be to finish out Kathy Brennan's
Mhm.
position. Now I have one written request.
Jeff had sent us something.
Do you
I
have
think,
something from Jeff?
before. He sent us an email a while back, didn't he? Or did he just say it? to
He
me?
sent me a text on Monday. I think
Okay.
he left it on Monday for 3 weeks and he
Okay,
just sent me a text and said he'd be willing to. But, you know, you got a written request from Rick Smith, so maybe that's. Jeff's already the treasurer.
yeah, he's already the treasurer.
Okay, I feel comfortable then and
Yeah.
then moving forward with Rick Smith and then something else opens up.
Yep.
Um,
We can take.
we'll,
Jeff
we'll
up on
have,
his-
we'll take, Jeff up on his offer. Is that acceptable to
That's
the other
fine.
two board
Fine with me.
members? So, the board, will then go ahead and appoint Rick Smith to the, planning board as an alternate member to finish out, Kathy Brennan's, position.
Yep.
So that brings us to total of 11 on the planning board, 7 regular and 4 alternates.
Great,
That's awesome.
super.
Yes, I don't, it's been a long time
Yeah.
since we've had it. I think it's just been a recent, it's a aggressive recruitment, I think, by select board members to fill that board out. So you can thank us later, John.
One more.
And we have another planning board,
It could be the chair of planning.
That's true.
Absolutely. It's,
Well,
there was a switch.
yeah, but does the select board, does the select board have a role, say who's gonna be the chair of the planning board, or is that a?
No.
That is a planning board. That's right. So in March, when, yes, although I think your position is for how many years? Technically,
Only 20.
only 20 years. So you may have a year or two to go, right? Alrighty, and there's another planning board item,
Next
the
item.
Golden Heights dumpster.
Mhm.
Okay. So
So
what's
the-
happening with the Golden Heights? This is the new construction
So this is the.
condominium. The villas, right? They put it in its actual, the villas of Waterville Valley or at Waterville Valley.
We went, and looked at the pad that they built, and
And the pavement.
and the pavement that they put down. And the property lines, the pavement is with their drainage swell, is right up against the property line. So there is no more room to extend the pavement. Even them orienting the pad slightly will not give us enough room to back the trash truck in there. Especially if there's cars, snow, anything like that, it's gonna make it virtually impossible for them to pick up a dumpster there. So.
It
Sorry,
was
this-
built by to plan,
Yeah.
and we thought that there would be enough room for the truck to come in and back into the pad. Right?
Mhm.
But looking at it actually on the ground and having vehicles parked in those spots, the truck will not fit
And this is
into the
upper,
pad.
uphill from the building or?
It is, it's
Yeah.
beside
back-
the house, it's
right.
beside the
That's right.
separate house.
Right.
So they built it the way that was approved during the site plan review by the planning board, and we did have input to that and said, okay. But now that it's on the ground, it is not large enough. We had Mike went up there with
Yeah, we went
Megan
up with the trash truck.
with the trash truck,
Couldn't
and
fit
it will not fit.
There's also like an overhang over the garage of the building, standalone building that's right there, that obviously you can't tell in the plan that it's there. And it's just makes it very, very impossible to back the truck up there, even in perfect conditions.
Yes.
So.
Hmm.
Even right now, if they moved all the construction vehicles out of the way, I don't think he could get into the pad. So our recommendation, it's in the memo,
Mhm.
is that we treat these 13 units as single-family homes. And we have them come down to the transfer station in lieu of a dumpster enclosure.
There's no other place for the dumpster.
No, we did check, there's the paved area at the top of Golden Heights Road. But that is not it's not an easement for a dumpster pad. It is an easement for a hammerhead turnaround. So we cannot locate it there. They can't locate it on the downhill side at the end of the driveway that services the garages, because that's snow storage, and then you don't have enough room actually to build the pad because of the drainage swale stream that goes down.
Comes down on that
the back
north
side.
side of that
Yeah,
that
so
construction, yeah.
they can't put it across the road. Number one, no one will use it.
Mhm.
And number two, it's on it would have to be built on the other side of the drainage swale, so it doesn't fit there. And we don't want to put it right at the intersection of Golden Heights Road and and Valley Road, because you've got the cross-country ski trail. So there's really nowhere else to put it on their property.
Have you spoken with the developer about?
Yes, I
And-
did, and he said, okay.
So this is just a waiver. This
It
is
would be a waiver
from
of
the-
what was approved. You're
Mhm.
you're the enforcement body, so this would be a waiver. And I did speak to James Sununu about it. We are gonna go over with Green Peak Development. And we're gonna bring Mike and Megan over there and look at the proposed.
Before they
spot
finish-
Before they
Finish
finish,
the
so that we
road
don't run
relocation, right?
into the same.
Yeah, they're doing the road relocation.
So how was that not caught in the site plan review? You know,
Looking,
working toward, I mean, like,
looking at the plan.
yeah,
We thought that the truck could back in and get straight,
right,
but it is not possible. Because there is an overhang piece that comes off the building,
okay,
and where the pad is cannot be moved. It would need to move to the right substantially,
mhm,
but the property line is there. And it was our estimate that the plan was okay, it was doable, but it isn't in reality. When you bring the truck up there.
It seems like this is a lesson for a site, a tight site like this. You've had
Absolutely.
a bunch of issues.
Absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
It is what it is at this point, I guess.
Now, if that standalone wasn't there, it'd be perfect spot.
well, for a lot of things, including
Oh, that's
including
right.
snow storage
It would
and all that
have-
other
yeah,
stuff,
I mean,
yeah.
Yeah,
Well, as Bob says, it is what it is, so the only option it appears is to not put a dumpster there, and the owners of that property or anyone else who's using that property will have to join single family homeowners and come to the central transfer station to dispose of their household waste.
but I'm glad that John is here because and Rich,
Mm.
that we will make sure, that when we're looking at the plans, we're gonna have to give ourselves more room than we were allowing
right.
on this plan.
Okay, do you need a
I
affirmative
would-
vote?
Yeah, just so it's in the record, so that if there's any questions later on.
All right, so I'll move to grant a waiver for the dumpster enclosure on, is it the villas of
The villas.
of Waterville Valley? The waiver being not to have a dumpster enclosure as was specified in the approved plan, and to direct people using that condo development to bring their household waste to the central transfer facility.
I'll
Do you have a
second that.
second? All in favor?
All right,
Aye.
Excuse me,
Yes, John.
I want to ask you, do you think we should discuss the conservation position? Because Jenny is no longer a officio,
I think you could do, that should be a planning board.
and you'd be okay with that?
Yeah, it's a planning board decision to decide who's going to be the
Ex officio.
ex officio for the planning board to the conservation commission. That, I think you could discuss that at your next meeting. That would be, thank you for reminding me, that would be the final piece, I think,
Okay,
in this moving people about.
Yep.
To put it all in place, starting at the next planning board meeting on next week on the 12th
okay.
at 8 o'clock. If anybody wants to come, beside planning board people.
If we do that, though, we need that person to be a member of the Conservation Commission,
Of the planning board.
both.
Well, if you're,
No,
if you're appointed
It's-
by the planning board to be the representative to the conservation commission, you were then on the conservation commission. It's not a Conservation Commission decision. Whoever the planning board chooses to be their representative is the planning board's
Just like
selection.
Rich is selected by the other selectmen to be the ex officio member of the planning board. It's the same thing. So the
Planning board
planning
can't
board's
pick.
gonna
Yeah.
appoint
Right,
the
It's up to the-
conservation.
right, who they want to
Commission ex
represent
officio.
them, the
Right.
board at the Conservation Commission.
Mhm.
And then it's just a done deal.
And should it be discussed with the chair of the Conservation Commission at that time?
If that's.
Well, I mean, it's up to the planning board to decide to what extent it wants input from another body, in this case, the Conservation Commission, on the planning board's decision to put who they want on that commission. It's strictly a planning board decision, but that doesn't mean you can't consult with the Conservation Commission.
But it would have to be a member of the Conservation.
No,
No,
the planning board.
the planning board member would be like a new member of the Conservation Commission.
That's
They are
what I'm
already
asking.
on it.
Right, by definition,
Exactly what I'm asking.
Right.
by
So
definition.
if someone,
Would have to be a member though of both.
right, well, they don't have to currently be a member of both. Like if Jane Smith was on the planning board and wanted to be on the Conservation Commission. Or be the ex officio, but hadn't been to any Conservation Commission meetings, and the planning board said, oh, Jane, you're perfect for the job, then boom, she's a new member.
Right. It's not appointed by the board of selectmen.
Understood.
Yeah.
It's really more with the planning board and the conservation.
Correct.
Could it be an alternate as well as?
It could
regular
be.
member?
It could be,
So you got 11 people to choose from,
right, or choose among themselves,
or choosing.
right?
Right.
I mean, I think historically, we've tried to make it a regular member as opposed to an alternate,
I think.
but it
just-
doesn't really matter.
There's nothing in statute.
That requires it.
that requires it.
No, I think consistency and attendance is more important.
Right,
than
well, and that's
status.
why you think of.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So we can have the chair become the ex officio,
it's up to the planning
Up
board.
to the planning board.
possible.
I don't see why not, but
Okay.
in statute, I don't think there's.
No.
Anything that says you can't be both as.
No lifeline for you.
Okay,
Right, but it's a planning board vote,
got it. Yep, sure.
right, to
Thank you.
determine who's gonna represent them.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
My pleasure, Mr. Chair. Okay, shall we move on to old business then?
Yep.
The vehicle bid for their recreation bus.
Yeah, we did not receive any other bids by 2 p.m. yesterday. So that was the deadline that was posted. So we still have Tyler's $250.
So he's resubmitted his bid and it's at $250 for the recreation bus.
Yep.
So now we need to decide whether we want to.
Yep.
Accept that bid. Discussion?
I mean, if it can't be used for anything else besides. Whatever.
A boat anchor
Storage.
for a very big boat,
Gosh.
Backyard
a backyard
play,
play area.
Yeah,
Who knows
for
what he's gonna do
kids.
with it,
yeah.
as is, where is.
No, but I mean, there's nothing that the town could use it for.
No.
I mean, storage for a few kayaks.
Oh,
Okay. We good with the bid then? I'll move to
Yeah.
accept the bid. For $250 for as is, where is.
Yeah.
For the
2005.
2005, thank you, recreation bus. Want to make sure we're giving him.
Yep.
the right For $250.
Yeah.
For the record, it's, yeah,
Yeah.
the one that doesn't work and is
Yes.
not safe to drive.
Yeah, I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye,
Okay.
okay. So I think the next item, Wendy, this is something you had a question about?
Yeah, and that. I mean, it's clear, it's weird, but it's clear.
Yeah, in our packet, it's
Yeah, the explanation is there. So would you reach out to the mapping company and?
Yeah, we'll check
just-
that. Yep. The area for our assessing records, what shows up on the MS1
Mhm.
is calculated by the computer,
Right,
right? The number that is on the USDA records is a greater number
Mhm.
than what we're showing on the MS1.
Right.
So I don't know how the federal government, I'm sure it's in their records of the White Mountain National Forest of what belongs in Waterville Valley,
Hmm.
but they're showing it as more than what the computer is calculating it as.
And I'm
We
sure. that-
will ask the computer company to check, but
Okay.
um,
I mean, the only way would be for them to go out and like resurvey it, and I'm sure that won't be happening.
no, that's not
so,
gonna happen.
Yeah. it's
It
just-
sounds like
it
an
is
error
what
that's
it
been
is.
carried for a long, long time, and it has no.
It has no
bottom
bearing on
line,
anything.
no bottom
Right.
line
Because
effects
it's
on
all
the MS
exempt.
one,
It's all
Anyway.
exempt property values, so.
right? And they're gonna give us what they're gonna give us,
Correct,
just whatever the acreage is.
Right.
Right?
and they're using a larger number to calculate what they give us, so
Why do we want to complain?
we
Yeah.
shouldn't want to complain, I don't think.
Yeah, just
Okay.
weird.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, anything further on that, Bob? We're good. All right, let's go to the road project update. Has the reclaimer been out there yet? Oh, I see Eric and John have left. I haven't heard it. Hasn't made it yet.
No, hasn't been yet.
They're still working on drainage.
Drainage? Is that an issue with it more than we anticipated with the drainage or just their schedule?
There's more water than we thought there'd be.
Yeah,
But what they are installing for under drainage
mhm.
is working from what we can see, right?
Yes.
The biggest thing is they're still searching for the end of, did they find the end of the pipe today? Do you know?
I don't know.
There's a drainage pipe that they're looking for the end of. Because it's buried somewhere. Hopefully in the area that they're digging.
Right.
The
And in the
reason they
plan,
want
or is it even in the plan?
It is not in the plan. So when they discovered the start of it, they decided they're going to flow fill it,
They'll float it.
which means they're gonna pour liquid concrete into it and just leave it. They're not gonna remove it.
So it's not something that's been actively helping. to
No,
drain.
it's dry,
It's. okay.
Yeah.
Huh,
Just a-
just a
Pipe in the
pipe in the ground. But we don't wanna leave it there without filling it, because if it degrades, it can collapse and
yeah.
then
Right,
you get a hole.
but you gotta find out where it goes to, right?
So we're just gonna fill it.
maybe not. So if they'd fill it whether they find the end of it or not.
Probably they'll
Okay.
cut it and fill it if they don't find the end of it, but I think they'll find the end of it.
Right, so you fill the whole thing, yeah.
Mhm.
Anything else on the road
Now
project?
all the delineators are up, the long lines are done, crosswalks are done. I don't know if y'all heard any complaints, any.
Other than the Waterville Valley News and Views.
Oh, on Facebook, there's been a lot of commentary. Yes, I've read. I've read the commentary. I mean, most of it seems to be negative towards the delineators, and I think part of it too seems to be a misunderstanding of what that path is. It is not a bike path. It is a multi-use path. But
I'm sorry he had to leave.
yeah,
So
but I think the issue was what's required by New Hampshire state law. So did you want to?
well,
Read,
the bottom line of the information that I sent you
Yeah.
last night is exactly what the summary that Wendy sent out as well. Bicyclists
Right.
are supposed to be in the travel lane.
Right.
That is. if
16
they
and-
are
16 and-
up,
and up.
yeah.
We are,
because-
right,
There is a multi-use sign.
Yeah.
Standard yellow, has a bike and a pedestrian on it. There's one that's not standard, you can made that has another emblem on it, but the standard one per DOT, it's standard yellow, has a little pedestrian and a bike, it's the diamond.
We
So,
can put those up if you want, but again, we're looking at over signage.
Yeah,
If, I think, again, we're in our evaluation period. If we just keep it the way it is right now, let's see what happens. And I know that I've received some feedback from folks that, both positive and negative. And so I think we just let it go for a few more weeks and then we can evaluate it. I mean, we're not, it isn't like we're seeing half of the delineators being knocked over every night. It might have, I mean, some of them are probably gonna get hit,
Sure.
off and on, but I don't see a huge issue yet, do you?
No, just the only main issue is that main turn on Tecumseh over by Will's Place.
Mhm.
And then the turn going right from Tecumseh on the Packards. Those are pretty much the only two problem areas.
The
How
corner,
so?
the corner.
Oh,
Yeah,
where
it's
they
fine.
get knocked
Yeah,
over.
Flip a delineator.
Well, better to clip a delineator than a pedestrian,
Yeah.
so.
You're getting any feedback?
No, I just let it go.
Yeah.
Let it
Yeah,
go.
I mean, that's.
Yeah.
Let's
Um,
let it play out.
The sign for no through trucks on Tecumseh. is that-
Jeez.
That will also be going up as well. We
Great.
have to get it all dig safe.
Dig
first,
safe
working on
first.
that. They have
So they'll
72
get-
hours. Submitted that Monday evening, Tuesday-ish morning. So that they have 72 hours. Whenever that's done, they'll
Okay.
let us know, and then we'll get out there to put the signs up.
Super.
Yeah, I think, as I said, I think the comments we've seen have been more related to not understanding what that multi-use path is. And assuming that it's a regular bike path as well as pedestrian. It is not. It is, the bike path is actually the road.
Steve doing to give a little bit of clarification would be to send something out. To the
I was thinking
Yeah,
about
and
that.
again, I'm
Right.
sorry you had to leave, but Chief does want to do a kind of a public service
Yeah.
announcement, get it out on social media, put it on the website, send it out in 411, all the formats,
Right,
and we can say it at the community meeting. He can speak to it.
I think that's the way to do it.
And
Yeah,
then just do an educational program about. What exactly we're looking at.
yeah. The only sign that I've looked at that I think was on what I had sent around was
Mhm.
that bikes may use full lane. That's not quite the right wording.
Right,
But I think that kind of shows the idea that bicyclists are meant to be in the travel lane
Yeah.
and may not necessarily be pasted to the right if they have to go around something.
make a left or what have you.
and I've had some.
Yeah.
On that main sign coming in, that first pedestrian sign that's on Triple Line Valley,
Mhm.
Mhm.
that crosswalk will have a share the road sign
Okay,
with a bicyclist on it.
okay,
So that is the only one we're putting up currently. If you're wanting another one further down or somewhere else, just let me know.
There is. We are gonna have a challenge of the transient guest, right?
Yes.
The someone who's
Yes.
just here one weekend for a wedding or whatever.
they have their freedom pass,
They-
they're gonna use it, whether they've been on a bike for the
Right.
last 25
Exactly.
years or not.
I
Yeah.
think that that's gonna be our biggest challenge. I think we can get the full-time residents and even the non-resident property owners.
Mhm.
We can
I hear
we can
enough to,
provide enough education to get them to get used to it.
Right.
I think that the real transient guest is probably just gonna see how everybody else is using it
follow along.
and follow along.
we can also
But-
provide some information via the Adventure Center, right?
Yeah, the Adventure Center,
And-
send it out to the lodges,
Right,
we
the
can,
lodges as
we
well.
need to develop something
Right,
that kind of explains, like a one pager.
Yeah.
That explains who can use it,
Right,
how to use it,
Right.
that sort of thing.
I mean, this is not a new issue. We had
No,
this issue a
no.
number of years ago.
Yeah.
Remember, I think we tried to keep the
Mhm.
sidewalks just for pedestrians.
Right,
But that didn't quite work out right, so
right. Yeah,
we're
I think you
still
just keep
working on it.
reminding them of what the rules are
yeah,
and try to.
and I think the visuals from that bike
Mhm.
pedestrian New Hampshire Alliance.
Yep.
They have some really good information that
Yeah.
I think is very, it's balanced. It's not like we're shaking our finger at
Right,
one
right,
group or
exactly.
another. It's
No, just,
getting everyone.
Yep.
right.
Do you, any thoughts, Bob?
Well, I'm a little nervous about confusing people more. I mean, with an educational campaign, and it strikes me that we just let it go for a while till spring and that. I think if you start telling people that, you know, that if you're 16 and over, you gotta be on the road and
I see
people are
what
gonna
you
say,
mean.
why,
Yeah.
you know, why'd you build a thing 10 feet wide, you know, it.
So pedestrians can walk
Well, and little kids can.
and little kids, because it's 5 feet
Well,
for
but
sidewalks.
but
right.
maybe, you know, maybe let it just sit.
I mean, it's
Let's
almost,
see
I
what
mean, this, we're gonna have
happens.
a Columbus Day weekend, it's gonna be rainy weekend anyway, and after that, things are gonna slow down.
Mhm.
Yeah,
I think I'd sit on my hands until spring is what I'd do, but
unless it was chief concerned because he'd seen something negative happening.
No, he's just getting a whole bunch of questions
Okay.
at him. I
Right.
mean, I think we just keep explaining to people
Yeah.
what's
I
happening.
think by spring, you know, people will be used to it, used to the
Mhm.
lines that we have, and it's, I think it'd be less of an issue, but I think if you start. Telling them if you're 16 or over, you gotta do this, and if you're under 16, you gotta do that.
Well, it's almost not even an age thing, it's a proficiency thing. I mean, you know, there are probably plenty of 12-year-olds who have spent every minute that they can on their bikes and they're perfectly fine in the travel lane because they know how to ride their bikes. It's the lack of proficiency, I think, that makes people want to gravitate towards that lane.
Yeah, the only place that the 16 came in is that's when they
That's the
can have the
RSA,
license.
yeah.
That's the RSA.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you have the authority as the select board to control exactly what happens here, because it is a local discretion.
Right.
So we can take what Bob, says and just go with it until we take them down. It's gonna change completely in the winter anyway. And then we can reassess it and discuss it and put them back up in the spring, however you want to put them up. And then do the educational campaign in the summer or something,
Yeah, if
Once
we
they've
think
had it.
we need it, yeah.
if we need it.
Yeah, that might make sense, because if we do it now, then they'll be overwintered and
Yeah, it's gonna
everyone will
be,
forget everything.
yeah, we're gonna
anyway.
get the educational
Yeah, I don't think we're
program out,
talking
and then we're
about
gonna
any
change
type of
everything.
Right.
around it, 'cause
extensive.
we're gonna take all the
Yeah.
delineators
Right.
down.
I mean,
Right,
barring
so-
some desire or request from public safety to do something sooner rather than later on this issue. It makes sense to hold off until the spring.
I think so.
Yeah,
Okay. Good. All right,
All right, that is.
What about,
yep.
we're talking about roads, what about TAP?
oh, yeah,
I still have to get the actual application in.
I mean, it doesn't
But
look to me like from the
we're-
Tecumseh to the bridge makes any sense. You got
Okay.
sidewalks all over the place and. I
yeah,
mean, we're talking about a bike, a multi-use path.
Mhm.
That's what they're funding.
Yeah,
I just don't see how that can happen between those two locations.
no, me neither, because the bridge just.
You get sidewalks
put
on
all
both
of that
sides.
work in,
okay,
and then-
where would you like me to, where do you want me to?
Well,
put it?
there are several areas. I mean, you could go potentially from Davos Way to Packard, make a left on Packard.
Mhm.
And then you can connect that to the bike path that the multi-purpose path that we created. The intersection of Packard and Snows down the Snow, so that would be a contiguous, right? That's one of the things we have to look at.
Where's Dub?
Where we
lost
stop,
me.
village, the entrance to village.
Oh, Village.
So just further extend it out to Packard and then go, instead of, like you were saying, not going further on Valley, but going left and going down Packard.
And just-
To where it would connect again with the,
And leaving the sidewalk on the opposite side of the
Nope.
street
Nope.
where it is.
No.
no, we
The-
would have
The
to,
sidewalk
we'll go.
would be taken out.
I mean, I'm just throwing out, that would be one option. Another option, we've talked about going from Snows Mountain up to West Branch. We
Mhm.
could extend that to Cascades because there is a trailhead
Mhm.
at Cascades.
True.
One thing I've thought about it, I mentioned it to Mark, is making a left on West Branch, but it's only 21
You
foot
don't have enough room.
pavement. But do we have to have a 10-foot wide multi-use? Can we bring it back down? There's nothing there now, not even a sidewalk. Can we bring it down to 5 feet and get 2 travel lanes? with 21 feet or 20 feet,
I
whatever
don't
it
know,
is.
we'd have to measure it.
I mean,
What about Boulder Path
well, I mean, that was my third, just
from Snowsbrook? Just
the question is how much we may end up having to tear all that up. When we put in the water, we definitely have to do water, right? On Snows Mountain.
on Snows Mountain, yeah, right,
Yeah, we have to do water on Snows Mountain.
right.
And the question comes, do we leave the water lines in the golf course where they currently are? Or do we move them out into the town right of way? And then do we want to repave that road and install the bike path before we make that decision to do the water line? You know, it becomes a maintenance.
I didn't even know
Issue.
that was a concern. The water lines in the golf course.
Well, if the water line breaks in the golf course, we own the golf course. Right? I mean,
just didn't know
we
if
would
it was
have to
discussed,
dig,
that's all.
we would, and Craig really would prefer that we not have water lines in the middle of the golf course.
Understandable.
So, I mean, it sounds to me like the tap funds are just not gonna work for us.
Yeah, it's
I don't
hard.
see any good solution and with,
I don't know, I mean,
We would, if we don't, the doing it as contiguous and doing it in the same format that
mhm.
we installed. Strengthen the request to change the money from one road to another,
Sure,
okay?
sure.
So if we said we wanted to go down Valley Road and we didn't install a bike path, that's all they're paying for is the bike path.
Right, so we.
So taking out the sidewalk and putting in the bike path would be required to get the
Right.
tap money. Or going up Snows, Boulder Path Road to Snows Mountain, or going from Snows Mountain up to Cascade Road or
Cascade,
whatever. We need to build the same thing
Right.
that we got approved for. Okay, so if it's not contiguous, but it's the same thing, and we have a plan to make it contiguous, right? Because they're looking for a path,
Sure.
To come back later on.
is to come
on-
back
on Boulder,
later, right,
On the rest of Boulder.
right. We can ask them to do Boulder Path Road from Snows Brook up. And just tell them that we want to wait 2 or 3 years to do that.
Yeah.
We can do that
That would-
rather than do Valley Road,
I think
if
that would make
that's
more
what you want to
sense.
do.
so what? What kind of a cost are we looking at? And you probably can't answer this, but what kind of a cost from the bottom of Snows Mountain Road? Running a water line to connect to, where would you have to connect?
We'd have to go all the way to Snowsbrook Road or
Yeah.
that section of Valley, whatever that is, wherever it transitions there.
Yeah,
There's two
the
water mains,
intersection.
so,
There's 2 water mains, one on each side,
Of the road.
So, right where
Of the
Boulder,
road.
where Boulder Path starts,
where
Yes.
Boulder Path.
so what would it cost to put in those?
Well, you'd have to go down the Boulder Path and then hook a right or hook a left, because again, the water mains go opposite directions. One goes through Green Peak Development now, the other one goes by the golf course clubhouse, so we would have to make a decision which side we want to go.
I would take a left
Yeah,
and
that's a
go
large
down
main.
to Village.
Mhm.
Okay, and connect in there.
Okay,
But we could discontinue both of those theoretically.
Yeah.
We could discontinue both of those water lines that are currently in the golf course.
just leave them.
I could just leave them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're looking for a price,
Yeah, I have no idea
I mean,
what that,
couldn't you lay the pipe, even though we haven't done Snows Mountain Road yet? You lay the pipe and you don't use it,
Then when we do Boulder Path, make that part of the project.
make that part of the project, so you do Boulder Path. With tap money
And that's
and
what I was
you
thinking.
put the
Yeah,
water line
sure.
in. But you just leave it unconnected,
Right.
yeah, we can.
and
put
then
it
when
on.
Snows Mountain Road gets done, you got it there, you just connect it
Yeah,
then.
the only
Right.
hesitation will be if we end up getting approval by town meeting next March. For the sewer line, right, we're gonna the
Mhm.
sewer line, we're gonna wanna take that same left and go down to Snows Brook Road.
Well, why not connect it, Bob?
Because we haven't done Snows Mountain Road yet.
But-
Oh, well, that's right, we do have water
If we
line
had
already
to
there.
do-
Yeah.
If we.
Just
had
connect it
to-
into the current,
Yeah, just connect it into.
So just-
the current.
Oh, yeah, okay.
just make it part of the
It would
project.
be the sewer line that we would have to wait potentially a year or two or whatever for
Yeah.
Snows Mountain Road to be done.
Yeah, no, that
It has
was
to
my
be
third option.
separated by how much?
10 feet.
10 feet.
And the only thing to consider with the sewer line is that it could potentially end up being a force main with a pump station. So, I mean.
But that's, yeah,
All I'm getting at is that would take up a less, so you'd be less intrusive into that area as well, because instead of them having to maintain an elevation always, with pitch.
Yeah.
They're just gonna
Right.
maintain one elevation, so. Just some, but if that sounds like the best option to me, and I think it makes the most sense.
we can do Boulder Path
And,
Road.
and. does-
Yeah, and
does-
engineer
does the
the
sewer
water
have-
line into
Does
it.
sewer have to be in the paved amount, or can it be in the,
Yeah.
No, it could be in the
Okay.
shoulder.
it could be in the shoulder?
So there's a bit of shoulder there.
So why don't we do Boulder Path Road?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think
Yeah.
that was
One thing.
my
that I
third
mentioned,
option.
And this is maybe a little bit looking too far in, but I know the Sununus had talked about, like when they change Village Road, if that happens, that they're gonna have to reroute all the sewer going the opposite direction. So right now, the sewer goes down Village Road.
Mhm.
They're gonna have to put a force main in if they wanna put in a hotel there,
Right.
that's gonna go up Snows Brook Road and around the same direction we're talking. So all I'm getting at is.
So
let's
we
make
should
sure-
wait on Valley Road.
Let's just make sure we don't have to rip it up twice
Yeah.
for the same intent, Cause it's gonna be the same size.
So leave it alone from Boulder Path to Village.
Mhm.
Is what you're saying, or just do what we plan, with the limited
Just
work we're
do
gonna,
The limited
plan to
work
do
that we're
as
planning.
part of this project, actually, right?
Right.
And then don't do
And
anything
the
else there.
pavement is in good shape there between Village Road and Boulder Path Road. Well, there's a pothole, but we can fix that.
All right, so then.
No,
yeah,
I think
Boulder Path.
Boulder Path has
Boulder
always
Path.
been number one
Yeah.
on my list as the next
No, me too.
target.
Cause we wanna get people out to the. list
And it is,
there.
and that is the main tourist path and it.
Yeah.
It's not looking its best. I mean, I would like to be really comprehensive with that, to include tree work,
Mhm.
all of that, to make it look
Right.
like a really nice.
Yeah.
Path going out. It's unfortunate we can't further get it out, make a left there at West Branch, because that's where people go.
So we have, right now, we have what, 1,000,003 or something that we haven't spent?
No, well, we have 1,000,003 that we haven't spent, and then the tap is 865. And our share is another 200,000. So we got another 1,000,000 from the tap money.
Although that requires that you go 3,500 feet or something of tap.
No, you can adjust the linear feet and just explain
It's
that
not prorated,
cost increases or whatever.
it wouldn't be prorated
No,
based on this, how
no,
many
they give
feet?
us the 800, no. Josh did not think that that would be a
Right.
problem.
Okay,
And we can go, I mean, we can go beyond Snows Mountain, right? I mean, we can.
You can go as far
As far as
you
we
want.
want. I mean, I would bring it to
You wanna go to
Cascades.
Cascade Ridge Road?
Yeah, I
With the
would-
Yeah.
design?
I would think so.
Okay,
yeah.
Because I mean, a lot of people bike up there and
Yeah.
then go up the
Yeah.
the lift
The
or
lift,
whatever.
So just keep on
Okay.
going,
So
yeah.
Snows Mountain up to Cascade.
Snows Brook Road intersection, right? The Valley, Snows Brook Road, Snows or Boulder Path, all the way up to Snows Mountain. Lake.
No, past that.
Cascade.
Cascade Ridge Road.
To go up to Cascade. Do we need to go any
It's the right
further? I
way.
mean, just
We-
looking
No.
at
No,
the
no.
pavement up there, leave
No,
that all
it's-
alone.
Leave those people alone. that
The
live up there.
easy.
Who are those people?
Steve,
No, I didn't mean it putting a multi-path
no,
up
it's-
there. I
it's
mean, are
going
we
to-
looking at that as a,
The multi-use path is going to be limited by our right of way.
right,
So if, I don't know that we're gonna be able to get beyond the academy,
anyway,
beyond the turn to. On West Branch,
Oh, okay.
even
because
so,
because it narrows down. Our right of way is very small through there.
You might have to ask permission from Wyman.
why not?
Thanks, Bob.
I'll give you his number. You-
Yeah,
But-
thanks, I got
But,
it.
I mean,
It's in my phone.
can we have a less wide multi use path to account for?
I
We're
wouldn't,
talking like a fee.
well,
a
yes, on
foot-
our dime, yes, for this tap process. I would
We gotta
go
go
as far as we
with
can
10.
with the exact design that
Right.
we've been using.
Yeah.
And then when we get to the end of that and we run out of space, then we can take over our own money as a town and do what we want through there. So we can make improvements that they may not be that same thing,
Right.
but not for this tap grant.
Right,
This million we've got to spend.
So basically, we're saying we go from the start of Boulder Path all the way up to.
Where.
so at least West Branch,
Across
hopefully.
West
Cascade Bridge,
Cascade.
maybe or
Yeah.
maybe not.
Right.
And we're gonna put a new water line in at the same time.
Mhm.
Minimum, yes, and then
we
if
use- and then
we, if it takes enough time and we got the sewer line possibility. We can do that at the same time.
And
But we'll see.
with the tap, I mean, the multi-use path be on the same side where the sidewalk is.
Right-hand.
Well, it would have to shift unless we shifted the whole road,
We're
right?
we'll probably shift the road over and we'll probably put it on the right-hand side going up towards the tennis courts, the way that we have it right now. So that it would.
From Snows
match it.
Mountain to, because it changes, right? From,
Oh, yeah, you're right.
it flips
does
over
change.
at
So
Snows
we could
Mountain,
do
it
a-
flips over
yes,
to the right.
Yes,
It's on the left as you're going up, so you. You'd have to decide whether you want to continue, keep that configuration.
we'll see what the engineer.
I think you just see what the engineers say.
But I mean, we might, with the tap funds and the money we already have, we might be pretty
We
close to.
might be able to build that entire thing.
Yeah,
Cool.
So with the water main become gotta be a capital.
It'll be a capital item, get added to the town meeting
Yeah.
request.
Said the CIP meeting today.
Yep.
if you have another one scheduled, so.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
So to qualify for the tap, we don't have to expend that percentage again that they had calculated. So the 800,000 was a certain percentage of the
It's
initial,
80%.
right? So we don't have to expend that
The
much.
200, yes.
We-
We will,
Okay,
we will have to show them $1 million project.
okay,
To get
They
the
will
800.
pay
But-
800,
To get
we
the
will pay
800.
200.
okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's
And it
gonna
doesn't
be up
matter-
really quick,
Yeah, yeah,
It doesn't
Drainage and
matter
everything.
if we
right?
spend more than that, it's
Right.
fine. It strengthens the
Okay.
Right.
application.
okay.
I would
good.
think so. I mean,
So
there's gonna be a
we-
lot of drainage work on that road.
So just to reiterate, if we did that, we could put sewer line in later in the shoulder.
Yes, if that's what was the town wanted to do, then absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah, cause again, I have a feeling, just looking at the way that whole thing's gonna be laid out. It's probably gonna be a force main and that's make it 10 times easier to install it in the shoulder. That will post and grab.
And but we're still waiting for the engineer
From Horizon.
Yes.
from Horizons,
And we'll have those answers way before we need, because
right?
now Josh McAllister is gonna have to go back and he's got to design everything,
right.
Right.
so.
But we need to get moving on this task,
Yes.
right?
Do we have to show one portion of the project being $1 million? And have a
Yes.
contract associated with that one
Yes.
portion? Then the rest of the project can be under another contract?
Correct, because they can be under different terms.
Yeah.
So this is gonna be a stupid question, but I mean, right now where we are on the existing road project. We can't fund anything with tap that we've already done,
Correct.
but we haven't done from.
Village to Boulder Path.
We have the contract.
We have it's under contract.
We can't terminate the existing contract
No.
and write a new one.
No,
for $1 million.
because, no, you have to jump through, and remember, I think I mentioned this the last time, Josh said. That he has been designing tap projects. And he submitted the engineering and it's been over a year. And they haven't even finished approving his engineering.
Oh, wow.
So
Oh,
there's
wow.
huge delays in this.
Well, that's what we got caught up in this
That's
time
correct.
around,
Yeah.
right?
So,
I mean, Boulder Path has always been on
Yes.
our list as the next big project with the multi-use
Yep.
path, so.
Okay.
okay,
Is Josh North Country Council?
no, he's our engineer,
Oh,
HEB.
Horizon, not Horizon,
HEB.
HEB.
Okay, I can do that.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be easy to spend $1 million on that road. I don't think we have any problem.
No.
Reaching that.
Right.
All right, anything else on the tab? You have enough to go forward with your conversations and anything
Yep.
written?
Yep.
Okay, and now our other fun topic, the transfer station update.
So, the top thing is the number of people. Since we've opened in September, till now for October. The main influx of people is Sunday and Thursday. It's very few people on,
You mean cars or vehicles, right?
yes, the vehicles. Overall, we're seeing an average about, 50 single family. For 2 days, and then 4 to 3 for construction debris during the open days. This does not include, the appointment days for CMD and brush.
So CD is C and D and SF is single family. And what's the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 at the top?
Weeks, week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4.
I see up to the left.
So
Thank
this
you.
is Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday. each
Yeah, that's what I'm
week?
trying to figure out. What when's the sequence begin?
So like. The month, week 1. So whenever the first day of the week. Of that week, so September started
The 11th.
1, 2.
Yeah,
Yeah, so, I mean, I'll, hold on, let me get my calculator. So, week 1 for September technically would have been, August 28th through September 2nd. Week 2 for September is 3 through 8. Third week is 10, well, 9, I don't count 9 because we're not open, 10 to 15. And then 4 is 17 to 22.
Oh, got it.
And then 5 is 24 to
So
29.
it's not broken down by day.
No, I can
Okay.
have it broken down by day, but I just did by week. Mostly people are Thursday and.
Yeah, I think having it by day would be
That'd be,
very,
I'd like to see that. That'd be.
Yeah,
yeah.
that'd be helpful.
So on the 14th. On the 14th, at 8, you had 3 people, 9, you had 2, 10, you had 4, 11, you had 4. 12 was 7. At 1 o'clock was 1, 2 o'clock was 5, and then 3. No one comes after about 3:10 is what I've noticed.
That's helpful.
So, I mean, it's very few people each day.
Yeah,
I think it would be very helpful to have it by day, though,
okay,
Yeah,
is that would really clarify what we're looking at here.
absolutely.
Especially if we need to pick, because we look at it in terms of Tuesdays, Thursdays, Sundays, maybe we need to be something else.
So this weekend, we do Monday instead of Sunday?
Yes,
Yes. Monday instead of Sunday
because of the
it's
holiday.
the holiday.
because of the holiday. It's not a holiday week for us,
Oh,
but that's
Why?
okay. So no. she
Right,
would
well, we're
get
still
Sunday- She
yeah.
would get Sunday. You would just
Friday
be
through Sunday.
open. Okay. Her holiday day is Sunday. She gets paid, but she doesn't come. Then she comes on Monday. And instead of being by appointment, it is
Open.
open. So it's open Monday, Tuesday, Thursday this coming week. But it doesn't change Jen's schedule.
Just the day.
It's just the day
what
that,
she's doing.
it's just what she's doing.
So is Sunday, she's not there Sunday,
She's not there Sunday.
she's there Monday instead.
Correct.
That's what we've advertised.
That's
I
what
mean,
we advertised
and
when we started.
yeah, and we have to go by what the federal holidays, I think, is what people are thinking of when you say.
Yeah.
It's what I was thinking of when we moved through all of this.
Yeah.
Even though it may not be a town holiday, day off.
So I noticed that we obviously don't have mattresses and all kinds of crap there on Monday morning
Mhm.
because so either the people aren't bringing the stuff anymore or they are and we're charging for it.
We are. They're still bringing mattresses and everything that they used to just leave over there by the swap shop. They are truly getting charged for it. And so we've actually had a lot more revenue from the transfer station than we have in the past.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's the other part of it in terms of tracking going forward is that type of change. I mean, anecdotally, it looks like even we may even seeing even less than we would have because people have to pay for it, or it's not just a simple dump, or we're not getting people out of town.
Just the tips for the transport station itself.
Yes, that's what I'm
have
getting
gone
at.
Down about 45%.
Yeah, That's exactly what I want to
August.
measure.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's an important measurement. Now, it's a very short period,
Yes.
so we have to
And-
see.
And it's the change in the season.
Yes.
Yes, it's a certain
So-
time of year. I mean, it's gonna take a while for this.
I talked to Megan about that,
Right.
and it is a big drop off, but what we've got to do is look at their years
Exactly,
and figure out
right.
if there's. an
At the
impact
same time of
At the
year,
same time.
yeah,
Right.
not counting 2020.
No, we always take out 2020.
It's the year that didn't happen. And also, I mean, a part of that too will be seeing if the tips change in places like Windsor Hill, I
Right.
think.
Yep. Yep.
Or if we're getting complaints from
Oh,
any of the
it's
commercials that,
we haven't found any people leaving bags outside the fence or anything like that. That's good.
Our cameras are there and we're not seeing any of that.
That's great.
Yep.
We had a resident this afternoon express some frustrations. I think probably the first time I've seen someone that animated about the hours of operation. Specifically, he would really like to see the transfer station open Sundays till 6. And I suggested that he come down and join us today, but he made a comment that he's gonna choose to go to social media and kind of get a following before he
Sure.
approaches the board. And I
sure. This is to capture people leaving after they ski on
correct.
a Sunday.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard that complaint as well.
Yeah, and I told him that.
Right.
We've heard some similar concerns.
Not as animated, perhaps.
No,
But I think, I mean, you just have to keep reiterating too, that this is temporary.
Yep.
You know, the upper transfer station, when we get there, will have lighting and in theory, we'll be able to have longer hours.
Well, if we have more people, I mean, I think that's gonna be
Right.
the major,
The other thing is they can-
Current attendant, that will not be possible.
No, exactly. Have more staff and lighting.
I mean, people can drop off the stuff on the way to go skiing and
Right.
to ski and then go home, you know?
Yeah.
People have to adjust.
I think we've recognized from the beginning that the greatest weakness of our plan at this point is the hours as we're trying to accommodate people who leave before it opens to go someplace to work, or whatever, or return after it's closed.
Yeah.
And I think we made the commitment to continue to look at those hours, and it's gonna be seasonal as well. And I think we also made the commitment that we're gonna look hard at hiring more staff to help.
Yep.
And there's also a question of if we can find that staff, even if we budget for it. And we still have to finish the completion of the upper, which may solve some problems, but may create its own problems. So this is gonna be a moving operation, and that's why I think these numbers by day, by hour, and by week, as well as the overall numbers, you're starting to see that you can start making comparisons to. Having a report like that on a regular basis would be very helpful as we make decisions going forward. And how to make the changes we need to make, yeah.
Yep.
Anything else on the,
Okay, the
Just the-
issue. I was gonna bring up stickers.
Yeah, that's.
yeah, we had decided, we said we try to come to a final, more or less decision. On I think the board's decision was to provide up to 2 additional stickers for people who have cars registered in Waterville Valley, but I think there was a question as to whether that was doable. I think that's how we left it.
Yep, so I reached out to Interware, they're the company that is kind of the back end of our, or front end of our motor vehicle process, so they. All of our motor vehicle processes that got completed through Interware, and it took them a while, it took them 2 weeks, but yesterday they were finally able to get me a report. In a CSV or an Excel file
Mhm.
that displays. I did from the beginning of 2022 to current, all of the people who have active motor vehicle registrations in the town of Waterville Valley. So they have vehicle type, name of resident, address, so there's all PO boxes,
Mhm.
and when their registration expires. And I was in there too, because you helped me get
Yeah,
the new plates, and I thought that was odd. But in any event,
Yes,
so it's
because it was
all of the
transaction.
transactions that came out of our office. Now what I would have to do, I guess, unless you can advise another way, but I would have to take that list of residents, compare it to the list that we've already generated,
that we sent.
that we sent the initial.
Based on the
sticker out.
property.
Stickers.
Based on the
ownership.
property address, right,
Right.
their address of
Whatever.
record. I'd have to blend those two spreadsheets together somehow. To get, if we want to track this appropriately, or I could just take that list that Interware gave me and just. Fire out some more stickers. to everybody.
How about we put a notice in the sewer bills run out? Are they gonna go out?
Yeah, they're gonna go, hopefully go out early next week.
So why don't we just put a notice in, if you have registered more than one vehicle in Waterville Valley. Come into the town office, we'll be happy to give you a second sticker.
And then you compare that. Well, no, I think that was the issue, whether to include all three at the beginning or.
I'm just saying, don't mail them to them, make people come in.
Yeah,
and
no,
get 'em.
no, I think,
We can reimburse the people that we've charged if we hand these out
Yeah.
for free.
Or just
Well-
give them a free sticker.
Well, we just put the burden on them to come in and pick it up. If they want an extra one, it's free, come in, get it.
up to two. If your vehicle is on this other list, right?
Because
What's-
then you can take
What's
that
the
list.
max stickers allowed though?
Three.
Because-
Three.
All right, because I've had people talk to me and they're like, well, I have 5 cars.
Well,
What-
You
No.
get 3 stickers.
They have to come talk with select board and see if they can change their mind. Three
So
seems to
right
be,
now it's 3.
it's three.
And then you can use that list that you generated. You alphabetize it, print it out, and just cross them off as they come in.
And whether they get, yeah. for
And you don't
every-
have to blend any.
Anything.
lists.
Right,
Put the
Or-
burden on them.
yeah.
If you want another sticker, these are the ways you get another
we-
sticker.
and
That's
we-
what that thing should say.
Go back to those. We go back to the people who have come in and purchased them. If they are registered vehicles, because we're not changing
They're not going
anything
off
for,
workshop. Yeah, there's a bunch of different things, I think,
Yeah.
there's couple different factors, I think, in here that we didn't.
What-
consider. Like, what?
what, like what?
Well, it's not necessarily the families, it's not necessarily other. Vehicles owned by that property owner. They have their adult children that come up and use the property on a weekend. And they're gonna take their vehicle that's not registered in town to dispose of the trash.
But we didn't,
That's,
but we have
up
not
to them.
required them to affix the decal to the car.
you can peel it off.
You can peel it off. And you can move it.
Yeah, but if, yeah, I'm just, you're, that vehicle's attached, that decal's attached to the primary property owner's vehicle. And their children they're not on the property list, maybe it's an LLC. And they're not here, I mean, purchasing additional decals, I think is great, but there's a couple other. All those lists, those other vehicles aren't on that list for that property because they're not registered here in town, they might be registered elsewhere.
Right,
All their vehicles might be registered elsewhere if they're not.
Well, then they
so
only
they
get one
can
sticker.
buy, so they can buy stickers.
They only get one sticker. What if we have placards made, everybody gets one sticker and one placard, That was
Yeah,
fixed to the
I,
main-
that, I think that was yeah, I like that idea, but I think we decided,
That ship sailed. We
Right.
have stickers. We are
Right.
married to the stickers for a
They
while.
they can put a sticker in a special envelope and put it on the fridge and the kids. You know,
yeah, I understand your point, Sharon, but it's the same for, it'd be the same for someone who's renting their property and the car isn't. It'd be up to the landlord to, you know, or the rentee, I think which way that works. To leave a sticker for the person they're renting their property to. I mean, we can only go so far without making this a terribly complicated system. I mean, to me, obviously, I think we should have considered the sticker and placard, but we decided on another system and up to 3. So I mean, this seems like the simplest. You're gonna get one if you're on the property roll, right? We send you one. That's the one we send. And if you want more, you either come in and you can buy up to 2 more, no matter who you are. If you know, if you have a association with Waterville Valley, right, you either buy it. Or you're given it based on a car you have registered in Waterville Valley. And they can be 2 separate lists. No? I mean, I guess I'm failing to see what the further complication is.
Is-
Tell me why I'm missing, what I'm missing.
What are we missing?
2 lists is challenging, I think, to manage. 1 list is kind of challenging as it is. We don't have a workstation up at the front counter for when people come in, so if you have a couple of people waiting at the window and you're trying to give out stickers to one, you have to kind of remember to go back to the computer and, you know, put in the notations that we've had.
Because we've been tracking the
Yeah.
Right.
stickers.
Yeah, we want to,
That have
yeah.
been going out.
We're associating the sticker number with every resident that we have as we give. them out.
Primary property owner.
So we'd have 2 lists running in conjunction with another that have basically the same property owners on each list with different numbers going down, sticker numbers. It's almost to me like if we just want to send out some more free stickers to people who have vehicles registered to the valley, let's just do that and not track it. I mean, because then I think the tracking piece of all of that becomes very burdensome for the
Yeah,
administration.
why do we have to track them?
Well, then how do you know if you've given 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
We wouldn't, yeah.
7?
that's why they have to track them.
So that would be the other option would be to just do another mailing. And mail
And
them
not
all
worry about it.
stickers
And
again,
not worry.
mail them 1 additional sticker.
Yeah.
So you need everybody now, every property owner in town
At
has
least
2.
Some
With
will have
registered
to work
vehicles.
because-
No.
No, don't tie it to.
Just don't tie it
Right.
to a second.
It'll be like,
list.
it'll be like the sticker placard. Except
Gotcha.
Except it's 2
Send
stickers.
everybody a second one.
Just send everybody a second one
For free.
for free. And then we can reimburse, we've sent out 20, 25. I mean, we've sold 20 to 25. You and I looked at that list. Just go back to those 25 people and reimburse them. Because, you know, you don't want to charge some and not charge
Well,
others.
that's why I'm just
but-
trying to be fair and consistent.
Yeah, yeah,
for
yeah.
Everybody.
Well, and that's the other thing is this is a consistent way to do it. Just send out a second.
I think that's where we started, but we ended up moving in this direction. I don't remember quite why we moved in this
Oh, they don't
direction.
keep them, but refund
Yeah,
them
they'll
the
keep
cost.
them, but just reimburse them the cost. That's
Well, if we're sending them all another one, just. Let them keep.
Oh,
one that
let
they've
them
already
keep the
bought.
one they bought, and then
Right.
they would have 3.
And I know, Bob, you fielded some complaints and concerns about the price, but I just want to give you a good example. Today, the gentleman who was very upset about our hours of operation requested 2 more stickers, and I explained to him that they're $10 a piece, and he had no issue paying. None whatsoever, and he was at a frustration for it, so, and I don't think, Sharon, correct me if I'm wrong, but we're not getting a lot of pushback, but.
We're not getting a lot of pushback on the cost additional, no, for that additional
Sticker.
sticker.
Well, what do we care? Do we care about the $10?
I think we have a good thing going, that's all I'm trying, and I know, I'm sorry, Bob, I'm not in your shoes, and I haven't fielded any complaints, but we do feel a lot of people coming in. Requesting extra stickers, and I'm not seeing $10, you know, I'm not seeing any,
We're more so getting the folks coming in that they didn't.
I want
either-
three.
They either didn't get the mailing, if they did get it, they didn't know there was a decal inside until they
Yeah.
already discarded the
Yeah.
envelope,
Right.
the decal's gone.
no problem.
And then they
Here's another,
couldn't,
here's another one, for
use
free,
the-
I'm not charging them if they say that they lost.
then they couldn't come in on the weekend because the office is closed and get another one on the weekend.
I vote we send everybody one more sticker and say, here's an additional sticker.
Well, I think the problem with that is that several people already have,
Yeah, but
stickers. I think we
it's
should
a
let-
very small number.
Right.
So don't
It's
even
a
worry
free
about
additional
it.
sticker, so if I already bought one, so now I got three, so
Yeah.
big deal.
Maybe just a little note saying, we understand a lot of people in town have discarded their original sticker or lost their sticker, and here's another.
well, no, I think it just
And-
tied
and
to
if-
select board decision. Select
Yeah.
board decided to pass out two stickers per,
Here's an additional sticker.
two stickers per property owner.
And be done.
And be done, now, and you can say, if you've already acquired one and you wish a refund. Come to
Then
town hall and we'll give you
call us
a
or-
refund. Put it on the person to decide whether it's worth their trouble. To come collect their $10 or $20.
And go off that original address list that we had sent out the first.
Yeah,
one.
no, I think
Okay.
that, and then from now on, any new
But
addresses that
no
come into the
other
system.
sales, though. Everybody has their stickers. We're not giving out a third and a fourth one if they buy them, are we?
Well, no, that's what I was saying. I mean, do we want to send it out to everybody?
I don't think.
Or do we just want to have them?
No.
All right, I don't want the
I
process.
don't want the
The process to drive what we're doing here. We're trying to get multiple stickers to residents for no cost. I think we've agreed, right, that 3 should be the maximum limit, or are we moving it to 2? That's one question I have. The second question I have is, okay, if we're gonna now implement this policy to change from charging people, how do we do that with the least amount of problem to get over this period and then just to regularize everything? Seems to me that you send out a letter saying the select board has decided that property owners in Waterville Valley will be allowed, or whatever the proper word is, up to blank, 2 or 3 stickers per property. If you've already purchased them, then please come to the town hall and we will reimburse you. If you haven't and you want additional stickers, come to the town hall and get it. That to me is the simplest way of doing it. You're up to 2 or 3. Some people already have them, say 20 or 25 people, and you get over the hump. And you, and that from that point on, everybody gets 2 or 3 stickers when you send out the initial mailing. Am I missing something?
Well,
here?
the only thing is, I would simplify that and I would say that. We just do a mailing. Another mailing with another sticker in it. Say basically what you just said. And say if you have. A sticker that you paid for and you want to be reimbursed. Come to town hall and we'll reimburse you.
Bring the sticker back.
No, don't even bring. the
Well,
sticker
but
back.
that-
Well,
Keep it.
No,
Well-
but then
I mean, if they
if they
bought
have
3
like
more.
5 stickers.
Yeah.
And they
Well,
just wanna reimburse. them for what they bought.
I just was sent out a letter saying if you wanted additional or whatever the number we decided, come to town hall and get it if you already don't have it.
I think that's too difficult
I-
because
You just send out the one, right, with, you're allowed to, you get 2 free ones, 3 max. If you've already purchased your sticker, like,
This is
we're not even gonna bring that up. They're just gonna keep the ones that they've already purchased.
Yeah, I wouldn't bring it
And
up
they
either.
automatically get that second one for free.
Yeah,
There's no
yeah,
issue
here's an additional sticker.
For free.
Have fun at the dump.
Because
Right in the
most of
water
the
sewer
people,
bill.
Huh?
Right in the water sewer bill.
yeah, most
I
of the
don't know,
people who
I
are
think we-
buying multiple stickers anyways, are the people who have multiple cards and they are wanting multiple. So having an extra free one isn't gonna.
it's not.
Okay.
ruin them anyway.
I think mail one more and be done.
Mail in more, be done with it.
Yeah,
In theory.
but like attach them to a card or tape them to the bill or something. if they're
And
going
what's the
with-
maximum we're going to
I
Yeah,
think
no,
sticking to
no,
3
no,
per
no,
household.
right, per property,
Per
per
property.
property, 3 per property.
And don't even worry about Max, because you already have the guy that bought 2 more. He's already got his 3.
He's got us great.
Well, yeah,
but
well,
don't
if we're gonna,
try to parse that, because that's when you get into,
No,
The
but that would be very
complication.
easy, because we already have a list of, so if we
oh,
like,
fine, if you
Yeah,
wanna do it
that
that
would be
way.
very simple.
Okay, then,
To exclude the
it's simple.
folks that already have first.
so we can max them out at 3.
Good.
Yep.
And if they wanna come in and get a third one, we'll sell them a third.
$10.
Yeah,
$10.
$10.
That's all right.
Okay.
Good.
That's fine. So they will have a max of.
all right, so let's sum it up. So everybody listening to this, because
Yes.
this is gonna be a
Yes.
vision. So
You already got one mailed to you.
you've got one mail to you,
You're gonna get another one mailed to you
right,
for free.
for free,
You are maxed out at 3.
right?
If you have already purchased 2 more. And you already have 3, you're not gonna get a mail.
Right.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
And if you.
We are not gonna put another sticker, because we can figure that out.
Cause we can figure that. And then if you want a third one and you have your 2 free ones, come on in and we'll sell you one for $10.
Beautiful.
Roger?
Yep.
So the third one will be,
And
we will
you
charge
guys
the
can
third.
administer-
Yes.
No problem.
Oh,
Okay,
Okay.
Roger. I think Steve can do anything right now.
Yeah.
all right, now I'm fine with that.
Yeah, that's fine.
We're all fine with that.
Okay.
I noticed we don't have on the calendar any requests for work over the holiday weekend,
Sorry, yes, that's a correspondence.
a walk-on,
So a
a
walk-on.
correspondent.
Yeah,
Excuse me,
so
okay.
we have a request, an email request from Dana White to work on Monday. The holiday,
Oh, same for Piper.
And
would
Piper.
like to
So-
as well.
yeah, so. Piper is an issue with the paving and staying on schedule.
Right.
To meet the schedule that we've reviewed with you before. And Dana White's request is because he's trying to finish the foundation. And he's got road work that needs to be paved before the paving plants close.
Hmm.
So Dana White is on the,
Dana White's a Green
Green Peak,
Peak
right.
work and our town road one. So. You've had this.
Discussion,
you're gonna start at 8 or when?
We can start them at 8 if you would like. They're
As we
just
do on a
requesting
Saturday.
to be able to work on Monday, the holiday.
Dana had did this last year as well.
Yeah, it's the same
right, but
request.
last year was in November, as I recall.
Oh, I thought it was,
Wasn't it?
No, it was Columbus Day,
Was it Columbus
Yeah.
Day?
Both.
I think he did.
Both Columbus
Veterans
Day and
Veterans Day.
Would they both be happy if we said 8?
I think Piper would just be happy to be able to work it all.
Piper has early work that he can do elsewhere and he can come in at 8.
I'd say let him do it at 8. At least that's,
No starting any vehicles or anything, start work at 8.
right.
I'm fine with Piper. It's a municipal project. And it's getting towards the end of that project. And there are weather considerations definitely for that. So I have no issues with that at all,
Starting at 8.
starting at 8 with Piper. But we
Yeah.
continually allow, and this is where we get some criticism.
Hmm.
We continually allow contractors to come in front of us and say, I need to work on this holiday because of X. But you can work 6 days a week from 8 AM to 7 PM, Monday through Friday, and 9 to 7 on Saturday. Why isn't this calculated into your processes? We've been accused of not paying due attention to homeowners, and we went through this whole special town meeting on hours. So I just want to throw that on the table before we once again decide to allow construction on a holiday.
Especially if it's habitual. if we've seen the
Right.
same thing the
Right.
previous year from the same contractor.
Now, maybe the proper thing to do here is because we've been okay with it. We've not raised issues, but if we want to say. At this time, look, okay, but in the future, we're gonna need more than I need to finish the foundation work, or I need to do this. Why, I mean, I don't know the business, but why is this habitually a problem
Hmm.
in their scheduling? And like everything else, I would exempt municipal projects because we've got a road closure that's involved with that as well. I want to get that road back open. I want to get the job done on time. And it's for the people of Waterville Valley, so we will live with that inconvenience of a workday. I don't feel the same about private construction.
No, that's a good point.
I am, I guess, willing to draw the line here, but make it one more time if the board feels that way.
Can I just mention something? I think
Mhm.
one of the other issues that occurred last year was that because the construction crew at Golden Heights saw the crew at Green Peak
Mhm.
working, then they commenced working as well.
Yeah,
even
it
though
was
they
an
were
issue.
supposed to. And last year's purpose of Dana working on Columbus Day was because he was way behind because of the state.
That's right. There was a reason for that. And in November, it was because of the difficulty scheduling pavement work
And that
before
didn't
the
happen this
season
year.
ended.
Right.
And so we're willing to do it, but
So
That didn't happen this year, is all I'm getting at. It's not like it was
No.
a ballot.
and that's what I'm getting at as well.
I mean, does Piper really need the extra day?
Yeah, he
With-
really,
With our complications we've run into the past few days, yes.
Okay, I'll go along with Rich.
yeah, so yes to Piper, no to Dana White.
Okay,
very good.
or anything on board concerns and directives?
I got a couple things. One, weren't we supposed to have some kind of a wind
Turbine.
thing on a building?
Yes, and I'm waiting for Bob.
That's still
Can't
in the
remember his
works.
last name. It's still in the works.
Okay,
In fact, that's what Eric talked to me about at the start of the meeting.
okay. And weren't we supposed to get a copy of Kim's letter from last meeting?
She's revising it
Okay,
and what.
Yeah, no, I
what did
actually
she
reached
say?
out to her because we hadn't heard anything and she plans to come in front of the board at our next meeting. She will, on the 19th, and she will get us prior to that a revised proposal for
I
us
mean,
to
basically
review.
what I heard from our new engineering firm, if we contract with them, is that they wanted to keep all options open in this area, including the lagoons, till they decide what the project's going to consist of. And I reiterate my point that I don't think we should be forming a committee until we're further down the line and we know what this engineering firm is going to do and where we're headed. We don't know that at the moment. And I really just think it's premature. I think her efforts are well placed, but I think it's premature.
We'll see what her letter.
Yeah, I'd like to see what the revised proposal is as well, and she said she wants to be on the agenda for the 19th, and I said I would include her at that time. So hopefully we'll see something from her.
As I said, I'm not opposed to it at all. I think
Yeah.
it's just timing.
Okay. So speaking of our new engineering firm for the wastewater treatment
Mhm.
facility, I think we can say that now.
Mhm.
You have a letter to Black and Veatch.
I sent, oh, I'm sorry.
In the
Did it get put in the packet?
It was in the pack. Well, I
yeah.
think we actually, did we get Mark?
So
Yeah,
that's just a copy of what I sent them.
right.
Which is a placeholder. They are working on the scope of work and fee. So that's where we are in the process. We have not gotten anything back from them
Okay.
since the last meeting. So we are still waiting on them to get us the numbers.
Hmm.
And the scope.
And we'll probably have to have a meeting once we get that. I
Yep.
mean, a special select board meeting. to
Yep,
discuss
maybe,
it.
yep.
I hope
Depending
it's gonna
on
be
where it
soon.
is, depending on where it is before your next meeting, but. Yes, if it's early next week, we can set up a meeting if you want.
I think the sooner we nail that down,
Yes.
the better, yes?
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Definitely.
Okay. And quickly on the course, the other things on the correspondence, we will PDF these and send them to you. There's a public hearing and public meeting of the Grafton County delegation about a supplemental appropriation at the county level for $5 million. $5.2 million. It would come from undesignated fund balance, so there would be no additional assessment. But if anybody's interested, it's for a county copay on a grant for broadband
Oh.
extensions within the county.
Oh.
So we will send you a PDF of that. And then before your next meeting, the town is being asked to vote for the board of directors for the WVRA.
mhm.
And we do have a member on.
Right, Brooke is our
Brooke is our
representative.
representative. So I don't know if you just want me to,
Who's our representative?
Brooke.
Oh, Brooke.
Yeah. So there are nominations here. How
Is
do
it
you?
contested?
No. I mean, that
Nobody's
will-
contested.
There could be a right.
It just barely,
Right.
Right.
ballots have just gone out. And any member can suggest somebody else to be on the board.
And you have
that can be
until
voted on.
October 9th to nominate somebody else.
Right.
There is a slate of officers proposed.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if you want us to PDF this to you as well, so you can look at it and get back to us. We have until the 9th. Do you have any interest in that?
Sure.
Okay, so we will PDF that as well. Yeah. Huh? And I've got the abatement right here.
All right, but you need us to get back to you on,
Yeah, when we PDF this, just
Right.
email me back if you have input on either thing.
right,
Is Brooke willing to continue doing it?
Yes, she is, if you're okay with it.
Yeah,
And the
it's
slate
perfect.
was put together of the existing board
Right.
members after everyone acknowledged that they would be able to reelect.
she's the most logical.
So back in June, we denied an abatement application from Northern New England Telephone for their annual abatement request that they always do. This is just to have Rich sign. They have appealed to the Board of Tax and Land Appeals. And we have.
Can we
to
go through this
provide-
every year?
We do. This is the same process of every year, but just so you know. You tomorrow, call Michelle and get her, tell her this is good.
You need me to date it? Today's
Uh,
date, or does it
Yeah,
matter?
Today's date's fine,
Today is what,
and that's only.
10-5, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Any board concerns and directives
Others, other,
bring up?
We did that already, didn't we?
yep,
No, yeah, I think we talked about a
Yeah,
couple of
we did.
things. There's that one sign mark, the Run for the Fallen. It is still up.
it's still there,
It's right at the base of the Boulder Path sign.
older.
Boulder Path and Snows Brook Valley, that tri-section. There's a leftover Run for the Fallen sign stuck into where the flowers are, the plants are, where it says Boulder Path.
Grab it.
Some, yeah, I mean, some, I would have picked it up, but I figured
Yeah,
we want to keep it, right?
Yeah.
Not just junk it,
We'll take it,
because they'll be back next year.
they will.
Anybody have anything else? No non-public? Get that out fast. Nothing for non-public? Okay, so I will accept the motion to adjourn.
So moved.
I second it. All in favor?
All right.
Aye.
All right,
Wow.
thank you.
2.5 hours. speeding along.
Almost.
Did, well, it was the tax rate setting, sorry about that.
No.